All right, Shalom. 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 First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakhan, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. And we out here once again. We're going to get right into it. As you can see in the title, right? The last generation, which is more apparent now than ever. All right, now is really the craziest time on the planet Earth, and so we're gonna get into a couple of precepts here, but at the end of the day, I think what we're seeing here is the justification for the great judgment to come to pass. All right, because we're now to the point. I remember, when you first come into the truth, all right, we're all right. You first come into the truth, and you think the judgments are harsh. You're like, damn, Lord, you're gonna destroy all these people, Lord. You're gonna, put all these people to death for not obeying your word. But when you start to see the madness that's going on in the world today, you're like, Lord, I can't wait for you to, I can't wait for you to, to bring that judgment, But hey, here we are, man. Here we are. Okay? There's the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noe, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. Yeah, and hey, there was a lot of unbelief in the time of Noah. Okay, believe it or not, there was a lot of unbelief in the time of Noah, and that's why and a lot of wickedness. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Genesis 6th chapter. There was a lot of violence, a lot of unbelief in the world at that time, and that's why the Lord had to bring that judgment upon the world. So when it says, "For it shall be as in the time of Noah," you got to understand what was going on during the time of Noah. You had wicked people, right, with the same desire for wickedness, with just a different level of technology to do it. And now that they've been actually exposed to different means of committing all manner of wickedness. So the problem isn't necessarily with the ability that they have now; it's with the desire that they have. Interesting how the Lord said that sin's desire would be unto Cain, and he spread that amongst Israel, to where now Israel desires sin, and sin desires Israel right back. Yeah, among the nations, to where even some of the staunchest nations that were no BS gameplay, I've been seeing and I don't know what if this is like on purpose or if it's fake, but one of the last stand, so to speak, are the Ishmaelite women. Where they wear the hijab and all those things. Yeah, they've been on the social media twerking, dressing all crazy. I'm like, what?
That shit look nice though. That shit crazy. I'm like, oh,
wait for this. But it's like it's crazy to fathom, that you would see a day like that. And the question is, where did they get that influence from?
Jeremiah chapter 51, start at verse 5. It says, "For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel."
Yeah, and that goes to show the great mercy of the Lord. Though our land was filled with sin, and we're talking about adultery, we're talking about murder, we're talking about the scriptures say they sold themselves to do evil, idolatry, and yet the Lord did not forsake us.
Look at the Chiracs, the hoods, right? The Harlem. That's product of Jake being overtaken with sin.
Right.
See, Esau put created society to where he thought he didn't have to worry about Jake waking up. Look, I got these niggas just turned out. They don't know who they are. They got the black culture. They're uplifting black pride, which the word black means death. These niggas is done. But the Lord said here that Judah has not been forsaken, nor Israel, and that's what you got through the elect, the men that are standing up, rising up in these latter times. And that's what Esau is mostly now. That's what he's afraid of. That's why do you think all the way throughout the different empires, especially since Esau started during the Greeks, what was his main thing to do? To take down Jake through what? Destroying the temple. That was the centerpiece of our connection to the Lord. So he's gonna try to do the same thing during this time with the third temple.
Yeah, God like the same idea that Jeroboam had. Because what was his fear? His fear was at the end of the day, when Jake went back to Jerusalem, their hearts were turned back to the Lord. Because there was a special presence over there.
It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off.
No, you're good.
Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
There you go. And then it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. So I bought my plane ticket last night. I'm already out of here. But what it's talking about is spiritual, because in what's that? Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because as the latter part said, the Most High is going to bring great judgment upon this place. Okay, and you're going to be you're not going to be looked at as an Israelite if you're living as an Egyptian. You'll be likened onto an Egyptian. This will be like the second Exodus, saying Goshen is not going to be a literal place where you have all the Israelites dwelling. Goshen is a small sanctuary now. Those that believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they're the ones that are going to be delivered. Ain't gonna be no murmurings on the chariot. Oh, he brought us here to kill. We missed the BBLs and the wicked shit that was going on in Babylon.
The OnlyFans up here?
Yeah. You have enough. Anyway.
Hey, but that's why it's a fleeing out of this meaning from your mind, man. Because we're coming to the point in time where the people that are mentally attached to Babylon the Great, they're going to fold. The shit that Esau's about to put out into this earth in the draconian measures, the tyranny, and ultimately that charagma, that's that NWO system. If you're mentally connected to Babylon the Great and to seeing your life flourish here, then you're ultimately going to take that charagma, man. So that's why you have to be as a pilgrim on the earth in this time. Not being entangled with the cares of this world. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
You always go into that, right?
Yeah, the golden cup goes back to the time of the Babylonians, where you had the Chaldeans, which are looked at as the so-called priests, all right, high-level people in society. Just like today, And what they'll do is they had this golden cup, which was it had this mixture in it, and what they'll do is, in order to get you to believe or have you as part of the swearing an oath into that secret esoteric knowledge, they'll have you drink that cup. And what the person who drank that cup will do is basically you'll be sedated, So at that point, they'll do all those rituals and everything without you really being in control of yourself. And once the sedation wears off, you find out what you did, and they tell you, oh, listen, this is the ritual that you've done. So you're all good now. You've been initiated into the knowledge. You know what I mean? And that's what they have today. All these so-called rituals that they do, it goes back to that. So the Lord is using that as a similitude to say that just like how the Chaldeans did back then as a form of deception and poisoning to get people to join in with their debauchery, that's the same thing that Babylon does. She comes with what's that?
Oh, that sounds like Hollywood.
The Hollywood, exactly. The hollow wood. So it goes back to all those things, the so-called pagan rituals, right? The worshiping of deities and so on and so forth, man. There's no new thing under the sun.
That's why it says the nations are mad.
Right? You go into that word mad, in another translation, it says deranged. And you go into that word deranged, it says thrown into confusion, disturbed from regular order of. Right? So thrown into disorder. And the scripture says that the earth is out of course, right? The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And so that's why you have Ishmaelites twerking. Right? I seen this one Pakistani, and she was a Pakistani rapper.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what is this all coming from? This is all from the Babylonian juice, man. Everything is just disordered.
Yeah, now you got that Jake over there in Pakistan. Yeah, Pakistan demanding money and shit. She ain't leaving. They take that shit with them everywhere.
I just want to keep going about yeah. Revelation chapter 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. if so, she may be healed.
Yeah, and we're seeing that now. But as it says, it's suddenly destroyed. You know, and if so be, she may be healed. But the thing is, as we're going to go into, you can't heal this place. There is no coming back in this place. You know what they do is they I remember years ago before the situation, right? Before the change, you had you kept saying that, right? Like this is the best that this place is going to be. You know, and those that have eyes to see have seen that. They by giving people their freedoms back, people were so happy and overjoyed that they didn't see the change that's going on in the world. Things have like drastically gotten worse at a very, very rapid pace, especially the morale of the people. You know, they're like supercharged on that. So there is no coming back or healing of this place because first off, the setting up of this place was done by Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai, and it has served its purpose. So can man heal a place that the Most High is condemned? No. Babylon has a terminal illness and it's on its last, well, it's not even on its legs no more. It's on its deathbed. What Trump there's this phenomena, right? And I don't remember the exact details of it, but there's a situation where sometimes a sick person, deadly sick, before they die, they have a sudden burst of like energy and light, which is like their last short lifeline. And it almost looks as though they're healed. And then suddenly out of nowhere, they're gone. They just drop it. They're dead. You know, that burst.
That's Trump.
Exactly.
That's what he's promising these people. But if you're paying attention, you should understand that everything that he's saying he's gonna do is already pre-planned. I was going into the no trust thing I was telling you about. We're gonna do a lesson on that later. All right, Lord willing. All right, but that's stuff that they were planning back in 2022. And that's the same thing Doge and all this extra shit Elon Musk is pushing. It goes back to that. It goes back to the whole Agenda 2030 shit. So ain't nothing new that they're doing that's, oh, we're going to save America. No, it's build back better in a different way. That's all it is, man. And you saw what happened when Biden was in here talking about build back better. What did he build back better? Right? Just like you said, everything that you see now is the best you're ever going to get. Every single day it gets worse, whether you know it or not. You know?
Was it? Verse 9. It says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies."
And that's what we're seeing now. We would have built Babylon. You had Trump grabbing up that Ammonite dude, telling him to invest instead of 100 billion, 200 billion in the US. You know, and they're seeing, yo, Trump is back. Maybe he might be the one to reverse things. Maybe we got a chance of healing this place again, but she's not going to be healed.
They came back with 500 billion.
Yo, shit. You know, all that is going to drop.
Yep.
You know, and at that point, sometimes, you know, it just as it looks like you're finally getting it, it all drops. And that's when they're going to say, yeah, they're going to say, nah, ain't no fixing this place. We out of here. You on your own. Yeah. Ditch the dollars, ditch all of that. This place is cooked. Yep. And what do we know about Esau? He would rather go to war than to let that happen. Yep. And that's what he's planning. The whole the plan of World War III is through chaos, right? Through ashes, the phoenix is going to arise. A new world order. How do you get a new world? You got to destroy the old one.
And Esau needs a scapegoat.
Yeah,
he needs a scapegoat for why the economy, why things haven't gotten better, even though they put all of these processes in place. And who's that scapegoat going to be? The same ones that they used back during the time of Nero, right? They're going to say, oh, it's these guys. They're already doing it now with Jake, right? The Northern tribe, the whole mass deportation thing. But it's only going to get, because you deport all of these immigrants and all these things. A lot of these immigrants, they said 70% of the farming work is done by immigrants. So if you deporting all that, what do you think is going to happen to the food supply here? And the food supply is going to literally affect people's day-to-day lives.
Oh yeah.
Your economy is actually going to be affected. Famines, right? A lot of these actual places that do like the, what is it called, like the what is this shit called, like the farm, the bird farm, like Tyson, you know, Tyson, like
chicken manufacturing,
the manufacturing plants. A lot of the manufacturing plants got immigrants working up in there.
Yep. The
poultry farms. There was a video I seen two Jakes. It was a Southern tribe Jake. It was like, oh yeah, we getting called. They was working in those poultry farms. That we getting called by people saying they need more helpers. And he was like, we got inspired all of the people that you need help from. And he was like, I'm already working my job. I'm not gonna leave this job and come work for y'all too. So now there's a lack of actual human resources to work these jobs, which is why they got Elon Musk and all of these AI people talking about, okay, we're gonna have AI do these things.
Yeah,
Hey, Bill Gates
AI
was,
shots.
Bill Gates was on one of these talk shows. It wasn't The View, was it something else?
It wasn't you.
The View, and then he went on
You
something
another
else.
one?
Yeah.
Okay,
And they asked him like, "Oh, so are humans gonna be necessary?"
right.
He said, "Oh no, just for little things, you know, like we're not gonna have robots playing baseball and shit."
Yeah, entertainment.
yeah.
This nigga,
But what did he say? Also, Elon Musk, he said, we're going to have UBI. We're going to have to have it
said that.
because they're going to take away all of the jobs, 80% of the jobs. So when you have this type of society where economy just is faltering, Esau's going to need to point the finger at somebody. And that goes back to what we was talking about in the card, how they're eventually, the thing that they're setting up, Esau is eventually going to have to trump, and these elites, they're going to have to actually address this truth directly, man. It's why you can't just work around it no more. Because this ultimately is the last thing that's keeping you, that's the buffer zone between the your new world order system and people that are standing up and speaking directly against it. Because what are the prophets doing? We're telling you that this system is coming and that charagma is going to be the thing that integrates all of the systems together. That charagma is the thing that integrates everything together, that brings everything together, the internet of bodies. Nobody else really. I mean, you got certain other truthers, but you know they don't have the actual 100% truth about this. And those people, they're gonna be, Esau gonna take them out too. But we're the ones that's actually telling our people not to do this. So yeah, Trump is gonna have to address this, right? And the Lord said that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I think we did a video on somebody in the Senate or something. He's pushing for religion. Trump is saying that there's too much religious freedom.
The new head of the management and budget office. He was a co-author of Project 2025, and he said there's too much religious freedom right now. We need to make America back a standard of a Christian nationalist country. And when you go there, he said the country of America was built on a Judeo-Christian world value system, and we need to go back to that. But if you want to go back to that, which I said in my video, then if America, the founding forefathers were on, you know, the Judeo-Christian world value system, what position was the Israelites during that time?
Right.
When you talked about the Constitution of all God created all men equal, you weren't talking about Israelites because you had them as 3/5 of a human being.
Right.
You had them enslaved. And I just seen an article the other day, which we already knew, that said that about 2.5 million Native Americans actually were on plantations as well.
Wow.
Judah and Israel literally was oppressed together. They don't really talk about how the northern tribes were actually enslaved as well underneath Esau's slavery system. But you see it right now. The product of why Jake is in the position that they're in right now, from the northern kingdom to the south, is because of that judo Christianity system that you set up, plantation Christianity. It was set on the destruction of Israel, man. And then you gave us the Christianity Bible and said, oh yeah, you're supposed to be in this position. So if you're trying to get people back to that mindset, that's why Trump is saying, all of the Mexicans taking the black jobs.
Right.
That whole equality BS, that's why he's getting rid of DEI. He's blaming all of those issues on DEI. When they say that shit, they're blaming, he's setting up the narrative to blame it on Israel. It's already being set up.
You know about brother.
Yep. Yeah, free.
Yeah. Actually, I have something else, but the direction kind of shifted. So, because like all the stuff is intertwined with all of the jobs and the DI, UBI, the immigration and all that. And I'm gonna read Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4. But I'm reading the NLT. It says, "Remember him before the door to life's opportunities." I said, "Remember him before the door to life's opportunities is closed and the sound of work fades." And it says, "Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint." But it says the door to life's opportunities is closed. Well, yo, that UBI, they're talking about all this, like the jobs. Yo, Elon Musk is talking about cutting 80% of the jobs. So if you have that, all this AI taking over shit, the whole if those immigrants are the people that did all the farming, which means they have something in place to a solution for that. That's gonna be all that lab grown meat and all that lab grown GMO bullshit, man. It's not that Esau, Esau already, like, this is already set up from the beginning. He's coming with that crew. These are the sword strokes. And it's gonna be it's the time of Jacob trouble coming right here. This ain't gonna end well, especially for Israel on this side. The Lord said that and I'll also bring that out, go back to what I was talking about, Jeremiah the 2nd chapter, where it says in verse 11 it says, have a nation change their gods, which are yet no gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which do not profit. Because y'all talk about them other nations and they're doing all that shit, the Babylon shit. They can't change their God, but see their gods no God, so they don't have none to profit. But Israel has something to profit. They had the one true living God. And when you jump down to verse 13, it says, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. That's what the Northern tribes are doing. They trusted in America. They thought this day wouldn't come when they would try to deport them. But Trump was talking about that heavy, and that's what they were talking about before he got in office, the immigration problem. And then that's when ironically Biden let all the motherfuckers in, the Venezuelan gangs and all that. They run up in people's houses, celebrities' houses. They said what's the quarterback from the Bengals? They said immigrants run up in his crib. Yeah, Joe Barry, yeah, him. So they're setting a narrative to they're the problem, these niggas the problem, and these niggas the problem. Israel. Hence Jacob's trouble.
Which is a problem that they created.
Right.
Right. So now they got to come with a solution. Same shit.
And the solution is Israel.
Yeah.
The elect.
Yep. Yeah. Another precept. I don't want to get back to that.
Acts chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, Paul departed from Athens and came into Corinth and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them.
So look at that. So this ain't nothing new. They kicked them, they deported your ass out of Rome back then. It's interesting, it's ironic because back then it was mostly the southern kingdom,
Right.
and now it's the northern kingdom, being taken up out of there, and it was Rome, which America's, Roman reincarnation anyway.
Yep.
So it's nothing new under the sun, but it all goes back to of all the different nations, because Rome was also like America. It had a conglomerate of different nations in there.
Right.
So of all the different nations, why they kicked out the Jews?
Why do that?
It's always at the end of the day, the main characters always come down to Jake, whether it's in a good light or in a bad light, And now when it comes down to Jacob's trouble, yeah, it's going to be Esau's trouble too. It's going to be everybody's trouble, but the main targets are going to be Jake, pursuant to Amos 3:1. Only you have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquity. And so a lot of Israelites are going to be getting targeted. That's going to start that way. And people think that, when they come, they're going to come for y'all. Y'all the ones standing out there saying X, Y, and Z. We got protection. You don't. And Trump ain't worried about, I'm just going to come for these guys right here. He's coming for all of y'all. 2nd Ezra 16.
Hey, they did it during the deportation. They gathered up niggas that had actual citizenship. So what do you think you're gonna do with you, Jake, man? What do you think they're gonna do with you, man?
Fine.
Hey, just like for on the left hand, one Edomite can the Lord can actually have that spirit of the serpent come back through. Esau see the same thing for Jake.
Right.
And one Jake can bring back the all of the elect. So we got to get rid of all we got to have all of y'all. If we're not getting rid of y'all, then we got to have all y'all sea hips.
That was tormented. Yeah, hooked up, And so all that, look, man, the thing is, the Lord got manifold, painful judgments coming for this world, man. And all these women talking all that hot talk. Guess what? You end up in the back of a deportation van somewhere. You don't know where you're gonna end up. That shit might take a detour. And next thing you know, you're going back there, a different, perspective all changed up. So with this, you're at the mercy of the Lord, really. And he ain't trying to show you mercy. He's trying to help you understand why it is that you should have been taking heed to the words and the warnings that we gave you. Because you know what at the end of the day, what's going to happen is the things you're going to suffer are the very things we warned you about. It's nothing new. It's like when the professor tells you what's going to be on the test and you don't study, and the same thing comes on the test and you fail. You know what's coming for you, and yet you still, and that's why the Lord is not going to show mercy, because you knew what was coming, and yet you continue to do the things that would trigger that. So now you have to pay reap the fruits of what you've sown, as it says in Proverbs, the first chapter. Oh, you got that? I got it. Yeah, you got it, bro.
Real quick, since we mentioned that, in the same book of Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, the 27th verse, it says, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they, talk about Israel, for they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. And in verse 28, it says, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Now, he said Judah, but also you could attain that to the whole nation at this time. Like you just said, you could be in the back of a truck, and you don't know where you're going to go. That's trouble. Not knowing your destination or not knowing that someone's going to come and snatch you up, that's a time of trouble. And that time of trouble is increasing more and more, like the brother said earlier. Every day it gets worse. Every day, literally every day. And the Lord said the days are shortened. So we have been shortened bad days every day if you're not part of the protection, under the protection, man. That's what the Lord said. Yo, tell your God to arrive. Tell Jesus Christ will come and save you. Santa Maria, all that shit.
Because when you actually Jakes now, like who's your God? None of them going to say Yahweh. They're all going to actually profess they have a God, but they're all going to profess a God that is no God. They're literally going, because most Jake believe that there's a higher power, but they're never going to confess the one and only true living God. So the Lord said, okay, well, I want to bring judgment upon the earth to these same individuals. And then when that time comes to trouble, pray to your God. See if your God can actually save you.
Right.
See if you will be actually, but if you believe he's a God, he should be able to save you from these things.
Right.
And that's how the Lord said, then shall my chosen be known. Because there are individuals, there's a sanctuary that's on this earth, the remnant that are going to call upon me in that name, right? That's been professed throughout the four corners of the earth, that the Lord is actually going to give deliverance for, right? Make divine intervention for it. And what are we going? We're going to praise his name even more. That is how his name is going to become magnified more and more on the earth. Situations on the earth are going to happen to where you're going to need a God. You're going to need a God to save you. Right? Amalek, they're talking about their God is the one, and we mentioned this before. When you look at these wars, all of these different nations are actually proclaiming that their God is going to help them win these wars. Right. The Ayatollah talking about by Allah we shall destroy them. Amalek talking about Hashem is going to give us victory. Esau talking about my gun, Babylon saying my gun is going to do this. Right? All these different nations, the Hindus, whenever they get these weapons and they do all these things, guess what? They pray to their God for they bless their enterprise. Right. They're blessed. Okay, let's be successful as we go into this war or go into the second. They do all these things, right? So it's always been about these gods or these nations in uplifting their gods. But the Lord is about to you're about to see that the ones that were insignificant, the ones that had no actual power on the earth physically, we had this treasure in earthen vessels because we have the one and only true living God on our side.
Hey, them nations, if I may, them nations never say that God started the war though. We said our God mustered those to the battle. They never said that God started their wars. Right. Where's the credit go for that? Who started it? Who's having you do it? Who's having in these leaders' mind to say, yo, do this, do that? Why is Trump totally different than Biden? It's the same country, so it's the same morals, but no, it's a country divided. That's the whole thing. What Trump was bringing back that white nationalist spirit.
Yeah. That's going to escalate more and more, to the point of people realize, like you said, they're going now they're going to be sounding like the heathens in the Psalm of David, crying on to all the gods, even on to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, but he ain't going to answer you. Like the sad realization is that you think, okay, I finally got the name, and yet you call him and he's not answering. Right. You finally find somebody's phone number, you call it. It's like calling 911. You expect that they're always going to pick up, and then they don't. And now you caught up here, and at the time you need it most.
Imagine they see you calling upon him, and he actually answers you. Right. They're like, why he not answering me? And that's why I said that they're going to take hold of one that's been a Jew. Said, let us go with you.
But we know the Most High.
We know the Most High is with you.
How they going to know that? And they're going to say that because they know he's with us and not with them. And that's going to be one of the main reasons why the men of the Lord are going to be more precious than fine gold. Because you're going to be like the prophets in ancient times. You're going to be the go-to. Like when you read about Elisha, he was the go-to even amongst the heathen. You had heathens, the Syrians. right? Saying, yo, send go over there to him. I heard there's a prophet over there in Israel, and he can heal you. You know, so we're gonna be that source, right? The Lord said that we're gonna be fed. What's that? Isaiah 65, right? That we're gonna be protected. And then on top of that, he said we're gonna sing for joy of heart. Some of us don't sing, you know. So imagine, you get so happy, you can't sing, but you try anyway, right? Because you're so happy. Guess what? We're gonna be happy because our lives are gonna be spared, Lord willing. But at the same time, it's gonna be a beautiful thing to see the downfall of this place and know that you got a hedge of protection and know what's coming after is going to be to your benefit. At this point, it's just going to be a waiting game. You got it.
Psalms 20, verse 5. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our God, we will set up our banners. The Lord Yahweh fulfill all of thy petitions.
There you go. We will rejoice in thy salvation. And we do that now, but as these prophecies start to pop up, it's going to feel more real, right? You know, when you start to see the actual Jacob's trouble, you're going to be excited more so than being afraid, you know, because you're like, yo, this is the doorstep to our salvation. You know, we just got to look, man. If clearly the door of the kingdom is across the street, but in the street you got lions and serpents and scorpions, your mind is going to be, I just got to cross the last street, and I'm kingdom that we've been waiting for, going back to Hebrews 11. Even all the way back in the beginning, they were waiting for this. Right. And now all we got to do, the factor of time is out the way. We just got to cross that path.
And what's going to give us the strength to cross that path? The name of our God. There you go. See? And that's something that a lot of these Israelites ain't pushing. That's how the Lord is making the separation of who he truly is with. Because the scripture says that the elect shall praise his holy name. Right? So it's by professing that name. Second chapter. Then I started to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Because that's what's going to give us the confidence to cross that straight gate. It's the name of the Lord. It said that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The name of the Lord is dreadful unto the heathens. Man, you can pull it up.
Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe.
There you go. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, man. What else do we need? Right. What did David say? The Lord is on my side. Whom shall I be afraid of? Who shall I fear? And that's what Esau. That's why we're going back to saying it. That Trump is going to have to literally address this, man, because we out here literally are confessing the one name, the one power that these devils.
But I'm dropping off a free king.
Oh, right. Okay, brother.
God bless you, man.
Let's see, I'm coming to join y'all soon.
Hey, oh, willing, man. You know?
That was good.
Word. Real soon?
First I thought you meant like, man, but now I'm starting to
Yeah. Oh, shit. He pulled up with how he looked. Three? Yep. All right, bro. Shalom. The lights got 144. Yo, this is it. Look.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I would have been there. I'm coming to join y'all soon. Hey, he had the white beard. You couldn't say he had the white beard.
Second, I noticed that was the first thing.
Yep.
Pulled up.
He was dressed spiffy.
Yeah.
Like baby boy.
I said, yo, that looks like how
And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's interesting.
like, yo, he coming here.
Hey, man. Hey, but that's what's going to happen in these times.
You talking about the name of the Lord.
The name of the Lord, man.
$3.
And the Lord going to actually have angels manifest.
Mhm.
Daniel, the 12th chapter. Daniel, Michael, that great prince, will stand up for you, man.
Yep.
This is what we're talking about. That's why we're going to have that confidence. That's why we're going to rejoice.
Yes, sir.
Because when the Lord now starts manifesting angels for us in that time, what do you think? How you think we're going to be feeling, man? Hey, you devils are through, man. Y'all done.
Well, he pulled up. He said, I got 4 right here, but I'm only like 30. But it's not throwing.
I need to think about this later on. Hey, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, you know it's heavy. When he pulled up, we were talking about the name of the Lord, like you said, he being a strong tower. And I was thinking about it, how in the times that we're coming in, most of the time people call upon God or Jesus Christ if they feel like some type of spiritual attack is happening. Normally, you're going to call upon the opposite of what's attacking you. So if the devil is coming after you, who else you going to call on? But see, now the devil is here and he's coming after you, but you call the right devil is there for you, but you're calling upon the wrong God to save you. How's that going to work? You see what I'm saying? So we're going to be calling upon the right God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And through that, we're going to have that protection. We're going to have the food. We're going to have the succor, right? We're going to have the ability to see before things happen, right? Ultimately, that protection, man. You know, because it's a time of what? Trouble. The time of evil. And when we go back into the past of the power that we serve, the things he's done for us, we see time and time again how he came through for us, even when our nation was wicked as hell. But a few of us cried to the Lord, and he said, you know what? I have respect unto their cry, so I'm going to send my one of my angels down there to take you guys up out of there, man. One of his messengers, man. It's the same thing coming back again this time, but this time it's going to be on a whole nother level.
Right.
Okay, the time of Egypt is not going to compare to the times that we're about to enter into now. You see, that's why it's recorded the way it is when you read 2nd Ezra. It's about those that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, because that name is going to be demonized in this damn place, man. They've already started the campaign, you see. And going back to that point that you made about the that guy who's talking about bringing back the customs of the Judeo-Christian shit, that Judeo-Christian bullshit that you guys are talking about is a strongholds that we out here using the truth to break down.
Right.
You see. So now that's a conflict right there. So we know they signed up for that war, man.
Hey,
They're about to come against us.
That was one of the wiles of the devil.
Yes, sir.
Because Jake was, what is Jake known to be into? The Christian church.
Yep.
But now, especially since 2000, but for the last decade, there's been a very hard decline of the Christian of people in the Christian church, mainly the so-called Black Christian church, right?
Yep.
And that was, like your brother was saying, that was a stronghold that was amongst our people. And now what you see happening right now, there's now a spirit of uprising against the truth amongst the Christians, so-called Christianity, man. And now you got Esau talking about we trying to bring that vibration. So you got these Jakes that bought into plantation Christianity trying to come up and come up against the truth. You got Esau, the government, talking about that they want to reestablish the Judeo-Christian Christian nationalism on in America. Who are they going to have to face first, man? Who are they going to address first? Why do you think the Lord said that you're going to be brought before governors and kings and magistrates for my namesake as a testimony against them, man?
It always happens. And so it will be more so prevalent now in this time, being that this is the last go around. This time, as you said, the Lord said his prophets shall not be pushed into a corner anymore. You know, so they're not going to be able to do any harm to us. They tried it back then, but back then was a different time.
Right.
You know, now is the time where the Lord says, I'm going to make my power manifest. You know, so we excited, man. We excited, man. Like, because the excitement is that we're going to see what the Lord does, like in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. Right. They said basically they're going to come and you say you're the son of the Most High, right? Let's come and test them. And in that same book, it says, when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, then, you know,
Thou showest thy strength.
and make it
them that know it, maketh their boldness manifest.
There you go. So that's what the Lord is going to do. The Lord always shows signs. He always shows signs. Even when you had Miriam and Aaron and Miriam coming against Moses, even within that family drama, the Lord intervened over there to let it be known. Look, you're not. This is somebody I've set apart. So what we're doing is very important to the Lord. Keep that in mind. This is like one of the most important things to the Lord, what we're doing.
And we're living in a time where men don't believe that the Lord is full of strength. And this is the most heightened time, man. Heightened period. They believe that Esau's of a full strength.
Right.
Esau's boasting in things that people look at as literally being godlike abilities, man. Miracles. To the point where Jake don't even fear the Lord no more. Think about that. Jake don't even fear. They don't even believe that he is. They don't even believe that, God, that there is a God of power in heaven. Their power that delivered them out of Egypt, that was with them during the time of Jericho, that was with them during all of these great deliverances that the Lord did for us, that he had recorded. He had these things recorded for a reason, man, because as it says in Micah, that brother can pull it up, 3 verse 16, that what? The Lord heard it, man, and made a book of remembrance for them that what? thought upon his name and feared his name, man. We're out here because we fear the Lord,
Right.
which is the beginning of wisdom.
It's the book of Malachi 3:16. Then they that feared Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, spake often one to another.
That's right. And the key word is speak often one to another. You know, go ahead.
And Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai hearkened and heard it.
Right. So the Lord listened and heard it. Go ahead.
And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared.
For them that feared. Right. So guess what? There's a book of remembrance before the Lord that's in there. You know, and then Yahweh Shai mentioned, right? Rejoice not that you have power over the devils, but that your names are known in heaven. Written in heaven. Written where? You know? Go ahead.
For them that feared Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and that thought upon his name.
And that thought upon his name. Now, what is the book of remembrance for? One thing I think about is during the time of the Persians, this guy Xerxes had that the history read, and that's how he found out about the things that Mordecai did and rewarded him. You know, so it was put back in his remembrance. You know, and so
it was also in Ezra too. Where he went and searched the scrolls.
yeah,
Cyrus,
Darius. Yeah, Darius searched the scrolls about the things Cyrus had. Yeah. So that remembrance, like when you read the scriptures, remember, it talks about how the Lord remembered his promise. The Lord remembered this and he remembered that. Was it Rafiki? Not Rafiki. From Viking?
Yeah. I'm talking what? Remember who you are. You're my son. That's what the Lord is saying to us, man. Remember who we are. Because what did Psalms 83? What was Esau's whole agenda? To take the name of Israel out of remembrance. This is what this whole thing is about. This is what black culture is about. Remember, it was measuring time diligently from the 70s. What happened after the 70s? The whole fucking peace and love shit, right? Jake was going over into Vietnam. Then he brought out the drugs, the war on drugs, and then he brought out the hip hop culture, more drugs. You brought out the whoredom culture. All these. Then you started giving Jake certain benefits, letting them be able to get houses, get money. All these things were floods that this devil was trying to put out to try to get Jake to stop from not remembering. But from through all that, what survived, man? The truth.
Right.
Starting from the late 60s, early 70s, the truth survived all those things. All the way up until now. Remember, the joke was over in New York, man. During that time, that's where why do you think everything came out of New York? The rap culture, when Harlem Renaissance, all these different things came out of New York. Just where the prophets were at, where the Lord put the prophets at.
This is a book of 2 Peter.
Oh, there was more than that.
Oh yeah, I was going to add.
Oh, you add? Okay.
Quick one that he got. 2 Peter chapter 3, start off at verse 1. It says, "This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful," right in your mind, "of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach." So going back to that point of remembrance, right? Everything is being recorded, so we can access it now, pertaining to what? Romans 15 and 4, that everything written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. That's right. You know, so these things were written for us in this time right now, and guess what? It never failed because now we got it. So everything that was written for it to happen is happening now.
And then some.
And what did the Lord say? How that was going to come to remembrance? The Holy Spirit.
That's it.
I will bring all things to your remembrance.
Boom.
And how did the Lord was able to do that? Because he was worthy enough to take the book out of the hand that stood upon the throne.
Yep.
He unloosened the seals so that we can actually break out of this matrix, man. That's what the Lord literally died, lived on the earth, died, was resurrected, just so he could go back to the Father and give us this Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth. In a society where the devil, the father of lies, was going to set up a whole platform, a whole system for us to just be drowned in these lies, man, so that we can never get back to the Father. But the Holy Spirit was a small remnant that the Lord gave that gift into. In these latter days, that is what brings us back to this remembrance. So now we're back in the spirit of the seven brothers in Maccabees. Now we'd rather die than to go down and worship Baal, man, to fall to your religion, man. Remember during the time of Antiochus, it said all heathens become one. Yeah. And many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. But you had what? You had that house of David during that time, the Maccabean brother. This time the Lord said he's gonna raise up the house of David again.
Hey, that's what Zion means. Monument. A monument is something for remembrance. The small hats didn't have to remember who they were. They're saying that they were always the people. But we actually fell away and completely lost who we were. So then that will require us to what? Remember, be called into remembrance, like the scripture says. Now I'll read on. Malachi 3:17. And they shall be mine, saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him.
Right. When I make up my jewels, and I'll spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. You know, because guess what? We're serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, we're sacrificing to serve the Lord, to do the work of the Lord, to push his word out here. So as he said, he's going to spare us, right? Meaning that when the time comes, the Lord is the one who's going to be issuing the orders of death out here. You know, but he's going to have mercy upon his elect, his remnants. And it's not just going to be, no, it's going to be the special case. Bring them over here. They're going to be taken care of. The second chapter. So look, man, let me make it clear for you. Not only is the Lord going to preserve his elect, he's going to feed them, take care of them, make sure they're good and comfortable. And then they're gonna get a reward after that. Woo! All the whole time you guys are suffering, you're starving, you're crying, you know, and it ain't gonna be up to us. You know, that's why we're doing all this work, because at that time we don't gotta do anything. It's like going into retirement.
And the word of my patience. This takes patience, man. This right here, this is a patient thing. Because what do we look like to y'all, man? We look like fools. Like, what are y'all doing? Y'all just out here every day. Just every week, just talking to yourselves, talking about there's going to be some catastrophic disaster. Y'all been saying it. 2 Peter 3rd chapter. Since the fathers passed, y'all been saying this, man. Y'all look stupid. But what the Lord said, the foolishness of preaching. All we're doing is what? The word of his patience. The word of his patience.
He said he's going to cause the proverb to cease.
There you go.
So we are.
And I was going to say, to add on to the Proverbs, if you were to think about the events that are taking place right now on the earth, that is taking fruition more and more every day. Because if you think about it, when we're talking about, like, and let's talk about since Trump got in office. When Trump got in office, he did a bunch of shit. When BB came to meet up with him, they were talking about Iran. He said, yo, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, right? The next day, Iran said, not only are we going to have nuclear weapons, we're going to speed up the process and take shortcuts to make nuclear bombs. That's just Iran. You got North Korea just started fighting again against the Ukrainians. You got Ukraine there and they're wiped out by Russia. You got China talking about, yo, we just about ready to go to Taiwan, Philippines, Japan. Everybody got nuclear subs, aircraft carriers. The Lord is having Joel the 3rd chapter take place as we speak. No more, because niggas can't just say, oh, y'all talking about some catastrophic. It's already catastrophic shit happening. You just had 3 plane crashes in like the course of 2 weeks. You had, what else happened? There's another plane crash in Brazil. And one of the plane crashes was, I believe, was a Gonzaga basketball team or a Gonzaga college team.
You got a bunch of different pestilences that's coming back. What was that one? Malberg or some shit like that. Or Malberg, Ebola, the birds, you know, angry birds. There's angry birds. There's a lot of things. A lot of stuff. The Lord said it. When you start seeing these things, man.
And you want to talk about to add on to that, acknowledging something. There's supposedly a couple of the Philadelphia Eagles players are sick right now. A couple of days before the Super Bowl. So that's something you have to acknowledge. If you think, all right, so people are like, oh, niggas get sick, but niggas got sick at this time, and they said they're ill. And they said like 3 or 4 of the defensive players. That'll take a toll on the process of the game. The game that you go for distractions. There's a bunch of stuff happening, man. It's a bunch of things happening, and there's a bunch of stuff happening to where now you can't just look past it. You got actual countries actually threatening America, saying to attack America with nuclear bombs. That's not something that was heard of years ago. Yeah. America was the guys on top. Yeah. Now everybody talking about attacking America, doing this, doing that. America's the problem. America's the reason why there's no world peace. What's up with that? And this real time. And who knows what's happening as we speak? You don't know what's going on right there throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Trump is on a rampage.
You gonna fix all that?
Yeah, he said he bringing world peace, but they said the world's gotten worse.
Hey, he tried calling North Korea to tell them to get rid of the nukes, and they told him our nukes are not a bargaining chip. We didn't make it so we can negotiate money. He said we use it so we can. So don't even call us to try to negotiate none of that shit. And they try to tell, okay, well, if you're not gonna get rid of it, at least don't help Iran develop. So they said, well, you know, we're not gonna do that. You know, you've been putting sanctions on us. If you wanted our prosperity, you would have lifted sanctions and allow us to, you know, participate. So they said, but Iran is giving us a chance, Russia's giving us a chance. So, you know, don't talk to us like you got to do something for us now. So, like the brother's saying, it's undeniable. You can't say that a whole coalition in the Eastern world is being made against America. You can't deny that now, you know? But yeah.
Iran said the same thing about doing the bullshit.
Yeah.
I got a precept going back to what you're saying about deliverance. Joel chapter 5, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
And there shall no evil touch you. And there's a lot of precepts that are synonymous to that. You know, and that's why that gives us comfort to come out here boldly and do what we got to do. The more understanding you have of the Lord, the more you believe these words. Because you know that the Lord said that. That's exactly what he's going to do. Remember that the Lord is a man of his word, right? And every time he has said he's going to do something, he does it. So if he says he's going to deliver us, he's going to deliver us in 6 troubles, and in the 7th, no evils shall touch thee. We ain't got nothing to worry about. We don't got to worry about how he's going to do it, when he's going to do it. We just know that we're going to be good. Just keep doing what you're doing.
It's kind of like being in the shoes of Noah. As we opened up with that, right? It's going to be at the days of Noah is how it's going to be before the Son of Man returns. Remember, Noah built an ark based on faith. Right. You know what I'm saying? He was being ridiculed, you know. And the old world, remember, the old world went on for thousands of years. Though it ends in Genesis, the 6th chapter, people normally think of it as, oh, that's a short time.
Right,
No,
right.
that was thousands of years of wickedness being done. Enough to provoke the Lord to wipe out the whole entire earth and restart everything again with Noah.
Well, remember what the Lord said. He said that the imagination of man is to do evil continually. You had to take a long process of time for it to get to a point where everything you just think of is just evilness. And we're going to go back to it, because the Lord said, as in the days of Noah. Where you see Jake now, Jake don't got no pious mentality, man. They're not thinking upon, remember, you just said, you asked Jake who's their God. Nobody going to say to him, Yahweh. Right. The same thing was happening during the time of Noah. That's why the Lord said he found favor and grace in Noah. Because Noah still stayed strong, stayed true to that same lineage going back to Adam. Because remember, it says during the time of Enoch, then men started to call upon the name of the Lord. So you had prophets that were out there prophesying, right, speaking in the name of Yahweh, right, during that time. Noah kept that same heritage. He kept that same portion. So that when the Lord brought the judgment, he delivered Noah. Right. And majority of Jake right now, they're going to be the sons of God that's going to be caught up in that flood. But this time it's going to be a flood of fire, man.
And when you look at the trend, you know, it was all based on what? Faith. Because they hadn't seen the judgment that was to come. They heard of it, and that alone is what compelled them to do what they had to do. Same thing as us. You know, every member of the elect were compelled to follow the ways of the words of the Lord through what? Through faith and fear. The rest of the world, they lack both. That's a problem. How you ain't got no faith and you ain't got no fear? Like, how you even gonna survive with some shit like that, man? You know? But we've seen the end to come. We read about the end, and we don't just read it. We envision these things, man. When we read about Jacob's trouble, we envision how it's going to be. When we see the judgment of America, we envision how it's going to be. And none of us over here look at the judgment of America and be like, I'm in the fire and the missiles are coming down. We always envision us being at the top, looking at this place get burnt up, man. Looking at the lines of the states, like, yo, oh, that's New York right there. Yo, that's Jersey right there. Yo, remember the wicked ass niggas that used to come up and talk shit? Oh, that's him. Look at him running. Oh, Lord, get that nigga. You know, the Most High gonna make a quick work with these people, man. And that's where the faith comes in, man. Hey, before it happened, we spoke about it. We believed it. And we waited for it to happen, man. And we kept our faith in the Lord. And what did he do? He rewarded us for that. Just like he did with all the men of old, man. Noah had faith, even though he hadn't seen no flood. Imagine building an ark, right? In the midst of people who, number one, they don't believe. Number two, they're wicked as all hell. So what you telling them? Yo, the Lord said what y'all do is wicked. Y'all gonna be destroyed by what, by a flood, they're going to try to talk you out of it. They're going to clown you. So not only do you have to battle your inner, demons or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to keep you going, to keep building that ark, because demons going to hop on you like, oh, you really believe the Lord's going to flood this place? Oh, there's never been a flood. No, what are you doing, you old man? Go sit down someplace and chill. Keep drinking some wine and relax. He said, nah, man, I believe the words the Lord spoke that there's going to be a flood in this place, so I'm going to keep building this ark. Right. And keep telling these people, repent. And what do? They keep coming, oh, this thing is still building? Yo, it's been like 50 years. You still building? Man, this man over here, man. And what happened eventually when the Lord shut the door of the ark? Salute. What happened? They start back. Noah, open the door. Noah, oh, you were right, Noah. But it's too late. It's too late, man. The Lord shut it. The Lord shut it.
I was just about to say that.
You know? Come on.
Psalm 34:17. The righteous cry, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles.
That goes back to the time of Egypt. You know, the children of Israel were crying because of the burdens and that they had in the time of bondage under the Egyptians, man. And what did the Lord say? He went to Moses. Moses had already ran to went to Midian, and he's tending to sheep, and then boom, what the hell is this? The tree's on fire. Hold on, what? You know? And then he heard the voice of the Lord, and then he's like, oh shit. Oh damn, Lord, you calling me for a mission? Like, this is a big mission, Lord. You want me to go back? Damn, Lord. He tried every excuse in the book, and the Lord said, nah, nigga, you going. All right, you going. And your brother's gonna meet you over there. You gonna do my work. No excuses, man. That's the same spirit we in. No excuses. And what happened? The Lord used Moses, and step by step, he showed him. He gave him the whole blueprint. He said, when you get there, I'm gonna harden Pharaoh's heart. He's gonna say yes, and he's gonna say no. I'm gonna put the spirit on him to do all that. And guess what? At the end of it all, I'm gonna break him down and his whole empire, man. That's what the Lord's gonna do to this place, man. You think we here for nothing, man? You clown ass niggas be watching us. You think we're here for nothing?
Here for something, right?
Yeah, real quick, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 48, verses start at verse 9.
Hey, Salaki, man, I was gonna say it's exciting, you know, especially now, because it's like you're starting to actually see, you know, imagine you plant, right? You plant a small seed, you know, it doesn't look like much, and you keep on watering it. You watch it go from that little plant all the way to a tree, and you finally start to see the fruit coming off of it. You know, you taste one fruit, you're like, this your bad, you know, and you realize how much of a gold mine you really struck, you know, or like Yahushua said, you know, you thinking on your farm one day, and you see this like gold dust or this gold piece right there. Come to find out, you really on top of a gold mine. That's what it feels like being in this truth, especially now, because like you said, this truth is holding out against everything. Years ago, when the world looked halfway decent, people thought the streets would be even crazier than it is now. But now they're seeing that everything else is failing, and we're good. What we invested in is actually starting to appreciate, while everything that they have is depreciating. And eventually, it's going to get to the point where our value is going to be so high that they're going to be looking at us like, yo, I wish I would have invested with what you're doing. You know?
That takes patience.
Yep.
And sometimes that long wait is very discouraging, man. You know, you keep coming back, you keep watering the same plants, you know, you cultivate it, but you ain't see nothing. It takes a while, but guess what? It's going to take a while, but you got to just bear with it. That's where the patience comes in. That's why we always commune with each other, because we keep each other going. If you isolate yourself in this truth, you're going to wither out. You need another brother's fire to keep you going, and then you keep them going, and they keep you going. It's a nice cycle through the spirit, you know. So that's why we cherish this brotherhood, because it's like an army. We're lockstep, literally like chains, you know. And each step, every step you go, you grab the next brother. Hey, the book of Proverbs tells you that 2 is better than 1. But in this case, we have multiple 2s. You know,
the Lord said, "You shall know my disciples by the love that they have for them." Man. That's what the Lord said. And when you look at this truth, there's nothing in this world. There's nothing that has a stronger brotherhood than this, man. Nothing in the world has a stronger brotherhood than this, man. From brothers that didn't grow up together, got different personalities, look at things differently, talk differently, like different things. But yet, when it comes to this, man, we'll die for each other, man. That's Yahweh Shai, man. That's the spirit of Yahweh Shai that's within this brother that you can't find nowhere else. To the point where you can trust brothers. You know, in the world, you got let's say you got your girl, right? And let's say your girl, and I'm gonna say your girl. let's say a nigga got somebody else, like you said, example, a person got their girl that's there, just like with Joseph, right? And their girl trying to come on to them. Let's say they bad with them. That brother would literally leave, go and tell that brother, "Oh, your girl trying to do it." Niggas in the world like y'all, they use TikTok and all that to show that type of shit, man. Or if a brother drops money, a nigga in the world, he don't know he dropped it. I'm just gonna pick that up. Oh, yo, you dropped this, brother. That's the spirit of this world, man. A brother needs something. There's no questions. Oh, yo, you better get this back to me. Like, oh yeah, you got it. Whatever you need, bro, let me know. That's right. That's the love that the Lord said that his disciples would have in a time in the world where nobody shows that type of love. Right? And it's going to get even worse. Imagine, all right, so now you can say that, okay, maybe somebody in the world, if he got a real best friend, he might give him his money back, he might tell his girl. But what happens when all hell breaks loose? What happens when now there's famines involved? Right? What happens when it's like, oh, it was kill, eat or be eaten society? People are going to turn it. That's why they said, the Lord said, I'm going to set Egyptian against Egyptian. Friends are going to fight each other like enemies. That's not going to be amongst the brotherhood, though.
That goes, if I may, that goes into basically the Lord himself. That's the point of the Lord. The Lord has that mentality in brothers' minds because they don't have the Lord in their minds. So they have that mentality of the world under Esau's world to be dog eat dog, cutthroat, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why they into all that. They ravaged in sin. But I want to bring the book of Isaiah, the 48th chapter, because brothers were talking about how like when as we're preaching the Lord and how people look at us as a spectacle and all that, the Lord seems like he's not doing nothing. But as time we in right now, the Lord is making more actions. So this Isaiah 48:10 or 48:9, excuse me, says, "For my name's sake will I defer my anger, and for my praise will I refrain from thee, that I cut thee not off." It says, "Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction," where we're living right now. But the Lord is slowly turning that off because now all these promises come to pass to our deliverance. That's the other side of the coin. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about deliverance, being delivered up out of here. So in the time of all this affliction and all of the hell and all this bullshit, it's kind of coming to an end. And it says, verse 11, it says, "For my own sake, even for my own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted?" Because what we prophesying in? The Lord's name. If brother will talk about, the enemy's coming in like a flood and the Lord going to lift up a standard against them, that's the Lord said his name shall not be polluted. We're prophesying in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord's actual name. He said it can't be polluted. He said it will not be polluted. Because even in the same book, he said his name is blasphemed every day. You got people that, you said, when their brother said, if you ask Jake what their God's name is, they're going to say not Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. They're going to say a bunch of other shit. That's why everybody in the world is getting fucked up, except for who? The prophets. Now, granted, we have a life we live that's not as glamorous, but it's a life as far as being taken care of in our day-to-day. These people want their day-to-day. They're looking for generations from now. Talk about generational wealth. Oh, in the last 5 years, I want to do this, I want to do that. Not knowing that all this whole system about to change.
Hey, that's why they're so scared about what Trump doing. Because they're thinking about, what is my future going to look like? What is my kids' future going to look like? Here we have no continuing city, man.
No continuing. When you're joining some love. No continuing city.
Oh.
Okay, verse 12. Here's the point. It says, "Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my cause. I am he. I am the first. I also am the last." Now, what about the Jakes that don't believe now? What's the judgment's coming to them? The judgment comes to them is the judgment of an unbeliever. You think these Jakes out here are worried about fearing the Lord right now? They should. That's the best thing to do. But only the ones that the Lord chose is going to be doing that. That's going to go towards the remnant of Jacob, the elect. We're trying to be part of the elect. We know we have the seed of Israel. That don't cut it, though. You have to be from the seed of the elect, the first fruits, the first spirits after Yahweh. That's his chosen. That's why the Lord said, many shall be called, but few are chosen. There's select few chosen Israelite men that's going to be delivered up out of here, men, women, and children. But starting with the 144,000. That's the point. That's what they don't tell you in the churches. They don't tell you that it's a select few that's going to be delivered. They make you think that anybody can be saved. So continue your wickedness, continue your bullshit, and you might be saved. No. And now everybody's starting to see that. Now you're seeing the judgments, harsh judgments out here. You got people killing their families. You got animal attacks. You got all these plane crashes. That plane crash, and you think all the plane crashes is in about the Washington, D.C. area. All of them is in that area, D.C., Virginia. All of those plane crashes. All the military helicopters that crash into a plane, That's getting swept under the rug. And it's only going to get worse.
That's Esau's way of bringing in the new transportation regulations.
Right.
Man. It's all primary reaction solution. There ain't no place that's you gotta have like to be a pilot. You gotta go through intense amounts of training, hours of that shit. So ain't no way out of nowhere just suddenly a couple of years ago you had the train derailments and it was a pattern. Remember, one time is an accident, right? Second time is a coincidence. A third time is a pattern. So you see this shit, plane crashes out of nowhere more than 3 times. That's a pattern, man. Who's doing it? Who's behind this? And what kind of investigations are being done after these things happen? We don't hear about it. You know what I'm saying? It happens. People talk about it, and a few days later, it goes away.
Hey, when Trump blamed Jake, DEI.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it really was for.
FAA shit.
To have more of a reason to blame Jake. Because as we said before, as society starts to crumble more and more, there's going to be a need for a scapegoat. There's going to be a need for somebody to point the blame at. And it's going to be you Israelites, man.
Right. And that's going to cause a reaction where Jake is going to react to that. And that's what they're waiting for. What do you think they got all these regulations and executive orders waiting for you for, man? Rex 84, what's the other one? Project Megiddo. All these different things that they have is for Jake. When Jake starts to rise up, we're going to quell that shit.
All those detention camps that they built during the CV.
There you go.
And never used.
There you
They never
go.
used them. They was building them, though.
Yup.
They got him ready.
Yup.
And Trump is the guy to do it. You know, because that's the thing. He don't care about backlash. In fact, he works with it. You know, when you give him backlash, his attitude is, oh, you come in with a fist, I'm gonna come with a knife. You come with a knife, I'm come with an RPG. You know what I'm saying? Fuck around, I'll shoot you with a freaking satellite missile. You know, that's how Trump moves. And that's his persona. So people already expect that. You know, and that's why I'm looking at these anti-deportation riots and so on. There was one where it said somebody got stabbed up. You know, there was one where they jumped this guy, started beating him up, you know, not like on some fake tap you type joint, but actually, you know, whooping his ass and shit. And then earlier today, they said Trump was angry that the deportation numbers weren't high enough. You know,
You got Sakari over there. They just had Gorilla Eagle put out a video saying that he pulled up to New Orleans. He's like, yeah, Trump called me and said, yo, I need you to pull up, man. I need you to tell the people, you know, that you spitting that real shit. So we pulled up to New Orleans because, you know, Trump is going to the Super Bowl too. He's going to be there in New Orleans where that whole thing happened before with
the whole driver truck.
Yeah, the driver truck dude. Yep. And that's where, you know, a lot of the witchcraft is that down there, Levite. The Levites, all that. The Katrina happened over there. So he said he's gonna pull up. So they're gonna be doing, you know, camp out there. And something, hey, you don't know, man. Because the Lord you got certain members, and I was watching the Dallas camp, they said that you can have actual people that's in GMS that are actual agents the whole time that they just wild out, and then that gets the ministry plate. You got whole camps, right, that were set up by Esau. Because like I the Zaquan said, Yashawamba, everything that Jake set up, Esau infiltrated.
Right.
The Black Panther Party, the whole civil rights, all that BS. Esau always trying to infiltrate what Jake does, man. Even hip hop, rap. That was created by Jake's in the hood. Esau came in there. Who was at the forefront? Amalek came in there and infiltrated it. So with this, you're gonna have spies, men crept in underwears that can do some shit or have whole camps like a Sakari. Maybe not everybody that's in that camp, but you got members, you got people, maybe the heads that sold out, man.
Right.
And they go over there to New Orleans, something happens, and then that gets on the news because it's gonna be a whole bunch of media press over there. That gets on the news, and then you had vocab said that this Hebrew Israelism is spreading, especially amongst NFL players. He said that back in the day. Yep. Especially amongst NFL players.
You got Deshaun Jackson,
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Trump already coming for
And this is the first time they said since I think W.H. Bush that a president actually went to a Super Bowl game.
Sitting president.
Yeah, sitting president. Yeah.
Definitely might happen.
You know, they played Caesar's
Oh,
Oh, really?
Caesar's, I think Caesar's Palace.
Is that Saints?
Caesar's.
Oh yeah, Caesar Stadium.
Stadium.
Caesar Stadium. That's what it's called.
You got the Eagles and the Chiefs.
And the Eagles and the
playing against each other. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of symbolism going on. There's
Something might go down because Trump. A lot of things.
Oh,
that happen-
Kendrick is performing.
Yup.
He came out with saying what? We Israelites. You don't call me a black no more.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, something big might happen because Trump. A lot of things that's happening. You know what he does? He comes out and gives a speech and says, "This would have never happened if we would have had this, this, and that."
right.
So, in other words, we need to put these things in place to avoid some of these things from happening. What better place to have all the attention of Americans there in a place called Caesar's Palace, where a Caesar Nero is sitting there, right? A sitting president at a damn bread and circuses. Nigga, ain't you supposed to be worried about shit, real shit? What the hell is this? Yeah. And so something might happen. They might try some form of assassination or something with the crowd like that.
In Simpsons, the Simpsons they showed DT basically in the casket, and on the clock it was 2:14.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's February.
February. That's this Friday.
Revelation.
He just got a certain assassin attempt or something happens on Sunday.
He said it
That,
though.
something could happen on Sunday to where he ends up in the ICU. Then he passes on Friday.
Hey, speaking of add on to that, do you remember what he said though? If he's assassinated, he said they're gonna put her at risk.
You don't think we on those orders?
Yeah. That's that. What's that? Continuity of government. Yeah, they got all those things set up. So it's definitely a season of curveballs. And it only takes one for people to really realize, this shit is real. They're Black Swan events. And who was it? Klaus Schwab that was saying that basically they got to speed up and stop with the 1, 2 little here and there. Start putting shit in motion. Exponential. Yeah, exponential.
Hey, was it a couple of years ago during the Super Bowl? There was a light out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Ravens did for 9.
That was also
Oh, shit.
See,
Wasn't that was before he did the whole Senate thing, right? Yeah, that was before Colin Kaepernick with the
Couple years before.
Yeah, a couple years before.
There's a lot going on out here.
Job 5, verse 21. It says, select it 20. In famine, he shall redeem thee from death.
Right. In famine, he shall redeem thee from death. Meaning, when you redeem someone or something, you buy them back. Right. So in the stead of us suffering from famine, the Lord is going to feed us. How do you get redeemed from death in a famine? You get back. Right. Similar to how in the time of Egypt, prior to the famine coming, the Lord gave Joseph the ability to foresee it, right, by Pharaoh's dream, to prepare ahead of time. And through that, he preserved the line of Israel.
Yep.
Right? So the Most High says, what? In famine, he shall redeem you from death. So we don't got to worry about famine.
Right.
We just got to worry about doing this. So Lord willing, we get redeemed. We'll leave the redeeming to the Lord.
Right. He's the redeemer.
It says, in war from the power of the sword.
Yeah, in war from the power of the sword. And the scriptures talk about that in Isaiah 13, about how the Medes are not going to regard silver, nor are they going to care about the children and the fruit of the womb, So you're going to have different kinds of wars. You're going to have civil wars, right? You're going to have different kinds of swords, guns, swords, these kinds of weapons. And then you're going to have the actual military grade weapons.
Hey, Psalms, it says, deliver me from thy wicked, which is thy sword. And also it says that who whet their tongue like a sword.
Yep.
So the actual Esau is going to use his tongue as a sword against us, man, the demonization. Because when
It's
you
going to lead into more.
it leads into the actual physical persecution. But the Lord said, what? When that comes where this devil actually tried to touch us, right? Do my prophets no harm. Touch not my anointed. See, you can do things to where you can mess up our jobs or cause type of headaches on us. When you actually try to physically touch us, that's when the Lord is going to set that standard, man.
Sure.
Because we're the temple of the Lord.
Right.
He's not going to allow you to actually destroy the temple of the Lord, man. So that's when he's going to set up that standard against you.
Yeah, back in the book of Maccabees, I think it's the third Maccabees, which is just history, but when Ptolemy, I think it was the fourth, Philopator, he wanted to force his way into the temple, and the Israelites tried to stop him, and he was just like, nah, F that. He went up in there, Lord hit his ass with I think it was a stroke or something.
Yeah.
And he just dropped. You know what I'm saying? And after that, he wasn't fucking with the Jews no more. Fear fell apart.
Heliodorus.
Yep, Heliodorus.
Heliodorus.
You got a beating of a lifetime. Okay.
Yeah, you can have something like that happen, right? Some Edomite, some dude come up and try to do something here, and then like check that just popped out like
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
just come out of nowhere, bang, you start jumping,
Stomp his ass out.
and then just dip out and leave.
Yep.
That'll be an angel. What happened that bit? And then we're on live, so nobody touched him.
Yep.
He just gets stumped out right in front of us.
He said it many times. Stand ye still and see the salvation of the Lord. You know, so it's time, but we don't even got to do nothing. The Lord got everything set up. There's scriptures where he says, I have servants in this city. With Elijah, when he told Elijah to go to the widow woman, he said, I already prepared somebody over there for you. And she didn't even know him. But yeah, she was prepared to serve him.
Hey, when Yahweh told the disciples to go into the city to prepare the Passover, so you're going to see this guy here, and he's going to set it up. We're going to go to his room.
Told him the master
said to make preparations.
He
just knew.
Don't push his ass.
A little bit more. Verse 21. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh.
And that's something that's a great, like if you actually think on a realistic practical level, that's pretty crazy, right? Like you have to be in a certain position of actually being invincible and knowing it to not be afraid when destruction comes. Because even anybody, it's human nature to be afraid or to fear instinctively when something that is threatening your life comes in front of you. If you suddenly see a car veering off the road towards you, instantly you're gonna be like, oh shit. If somebody just put a gun to your head, you're like, oh shit. But the Lord said, yeah, we're not gonna be afraid when destruction comes.
Yep. In the NLT, it says, you will be safe from slander and have no fear when destruction comes. And that's what Esau is going to come with, man. When they come and try to attack us, remember, the Lord said that we're blameless, right? So when they actually come and demonize us, it's only going to be just straight slander, right? It's just going to be slander. Everything that this devil is going to paint the picture of, you're going to use the AI, artificial intelligence, the deep seek, right? The deep fakes. You're going to have our faces saying certain shit, our voices, saying us actually on camera. That's not really us, but it's going to look like us doing shit, man. But that's a slander. Because we were talking about in the car, people already see certain AI and they're not able to tell the difference of whether or not it's real or not. So that's going to be a time period where are you going to be able to stand for the Lord during that time? Knowing that this devil's lying on you, but everybody else believes the lie. You know what you believe in, you know the truth, but everybody else, your own family members. I always knew he was crazy. I already knew that they were going to do something like that. I told you he was being poisoned. I told you that it was a cult. I told you that. And I'm like, I don't know what he's been doing every Saturday. Who knows? I hardly see him. We stopped talking.
Now I was going to be like, imagine a situation where they just happen to catch you, put a bag over your head, and take you into some room for like 24 hours. And when you come back, you just see like your face all over the news that you did this, that, and that in the past 24 hours.
Yep.
And you imagine trying to explain that to somebody, and they're seeing your face doing this shit when somebody else went and did a crime, and they're like, so where were you? Nah, because I was I don't know, somebody put a bag on my head and I was in some room, I didn't know where I was. They're gonna look at you like, come on.
Really, they did that?
Yeah.
Because people expect some shit to happen when everything is just crazy. They don't expect something like that can happen, just a random event, something like that, man.
Well, but they have documents where they said 6 months or a few months prior to martial law being enacted, they're going to start rounding up people who have a voice to speak for the masses to be influenced. Because ultimately, it's all about the masses. Before Esau goes to war, he has to create propaganda for the support of the people in order for it to be justified. When you look at all their wars that they've gone to, it was always the media. They always use the printing press, the media, and so on and so forth. So now, if they come to war against the prophets of the Lord, what you think they're going to do? It's the same blueprint over and over and over again, but this time it's going to be a sideways where they're not going to see it coming. You see, because now you got spiritual power. How do you fight against that? You're not coming guns blazing against no spiritual power, brother. Don't you try that shit. Don't try that shit, man.
In
Don't-
foreign countries, when they declared martial law, they shut off the internet.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
couldn't, no information was coming in or going out.
Right, but FEMA's
For-
gonna
for
have
the,
access to that.
Yeah, for the regular people.
Yeah, FEMA, they said they're gonna cut off communication lines. They're gonna, phones, access to transportations. You know, the roads and highways. All that's gonna be patrolled by them troops, man. You know, and they set it up where you're gonna have foreign troops coming in here to give support because a lot of the people in the military now they're weak. Trump is coming up with all these things that's wiping out what they did over the past 4 years. So there's a conflict there.
It's interesting. It's a very strategic thing they're doing. They're buying out, you could say, all of these people in these government positions and replacing them with completely new cabinet, so to speak. So now, no, I was gonna say. So now it's like, who's gonna be in the way, whistleblowing and resisting that governmental authority?
And you got Elon Musk up in there, and the whole shit that was going on last year with the whole internet outages, the cyber attacks on AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. But guess what? Elon Musk got Starlink, which is also another form of internet. So if they attack the internet, but if these certain companies, but they got Starlink that's still able to be up and running, then that's a form of them being able to still use the internet, but now everybody else can't use the internet. And then now, in order to use the internet, you got to be tapping to Starlink. And Starlink is tapping into the digital ID system, the B system.
You got Palantir. They also work hand in hand with that whole robotics. So they're pretty much in line with our Starlink.
Oh,
Yeah, his name is Peter Thiel, I think that's his name.
Corner of this company, Palantir.
Yeah, Palantir. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they work on that front anyway. So, and Elon Musk, man, watch that dude. He's gonna be that
Wicked
typical
corporate tech guy.
monopolizing tech guy who's faced on every billboard. His hologram is talking, giving those little speeches. We now have the UBI. UBI is this. You're gonna see that. That's him. He's the guy they always show in the dystopian futures. You know, futuristic TV shows. He owns everything. He invented this. He invented that. And your ass is being surveilled 24/7.
Because when you think about the lobbyists that you were just talking about, they were never on the forefront. They were always the one that was backing, pushing their agenda by buying out the politicians. Where Esau's at the end now, so the actual lobbyists are now your governmental leaders. The real fuck hiding in the back anymore. Nah, fuck it, we out here. This is what it is. You got the richest man in the world in the White House. How is that a Republican? Not Republican, a republic, man.
Democratic.
It's an oligarchy.
Yeah, that's definitely an oligarchy. And ultimately, what the oligarchy final form of their government is not democracy, it's technocracy. That's what their final form of government is. Because it's through technocracy, they're going to be able to do what? Have complete control over every human being. Be like the Most High. Want to say something, bro?
Yeah, kind of. Add to your point. That's when Rome really became an empire. They had the Caesars, they had emperors. Before it was a republic. But you can liken that into America. America's been kind of like a republic now. We know it's all set up and it's all a bunch of sellouts. But now they straight up got their emperor. They got Nero in there, and he is operating as a Roman Caesar without any type of checks and balances. So now they just took away. Elon Musk just said the Department of Education is done.
That's great.
It wasn't no process like, yo, listen, we're going to litigate this a year from now. He said, nah, it's done right now. Boom. No more education. Because you niggas are already stupid enough. They don't got to try to have a Department of Education to make you any more dumb. It's already complete. All the programs and different sides, it's all come to this point, and they got what they needed to be accomplished. So now we're going to pull back on this, pull back on that, and now bring it out. Bring out the MOTB. That's the time we in.
I got the definition of technocracy is a form of government in which the decision makers are based on their expertise in a given area of responsibility, particularly with regard to scientific or technical knowledge. And then what did the world Klaus Schwab say? That we're entering into an intelligence age. So the decision makers are going to be the ones are your Chaldeans, right? The scientists. Because that's really what Elon Musk is. You know, he boasts in his scientific innovations. So that's what the government, that's their decision makers now. Klaus Schwab said what? That decision makers of the future are in this room. The stakeholders of the world.
They go technocat, which is a technocratic capitalism.
Yeah.
He said, the Chaldean, but what the Lord said about Babylon and Chaldean, he's gonna put his arm on it. He said,
Got the hands on him?
no. He said, he'll do his pleasure. He'll do his pleasure on Babylon, his arm on the Chaldeans.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they have to do that to fulfill prophecy. So we're not mad that they're doing it. That's why some people might confuse us and think we support these people. You know? Because they're like, yo, anytime these guys do something, y'all always like, yeah, go ahead. Well, that's because they got to do it in order for the next phase of prophecy to come to pass. Yeah, we not. Look, man, if your train is here, right, and you excited to get to your destination, it ain't that you love train rides. That's why you're so excited that the train is here. You're just happy because that's how you get to your destination. So they got to come with these things, and they're moving fast, both in our benefit and in theirs. They, on their side, they think we got to move fast to get this done. On our side, we like, go ahead and move fast so we can get this done. You know, the only thing is their expectation at the end and our expectation is going to be two different things, two different sides of the picture. You know, and that's why the scriptures say the Most High disappointed the devices of the wicked. Yeah, but they not perform their enterprise.
Psalm 35 and 19. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land.
And that's what they're always doing. They're devising, what's that, deceitful manners?
Deceitful matters.
Deceitful matters. And in Micah 2:1, it also mentions that they may practice it when the morning is light. It's in the power of their head. Because it's in the power of their heads. And now they're making it more and more manifest. As I always say, when you have a bold plan, eventually it gets to the point where as you're fulfilling the plan, it gets revealed. There's no way you can accomplish a plan that big without it being revealed. By the time the plan is in motion, look, the ninja got to rob the bank at some point. It doesn't matter how much planning he does. At some point, he's going to walk up in the bank with a gun, and everybody going to know he's robbing the bank, right? So we may tell you, he's going to rob the bank. Nah, he ain't going to do it. But when he starts robbing it, you're going to see that he's been robbing it. The difference is we were prepared. We're not in the bank at that time. Right. We transferred all our funds money out. You know, and now your money's stuck in there, and you were hostage in there, getting slapped up by gun whip by some random nigga with a ski mask. You know, that's how this world is going. So we good, man. We good on this side. The Lord got our backs, to this very day, and Lord willing, up until the into the kingdom. Right. It's only up from here.
Okay, it's crazy. This is going to be the time of the greatest loss, not just loss of life, but loss of property as well. But when the brother said we're good on this side, meaning that we got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? We got nothing to lose, man. Where you gonna come for our lives? Man, okay, be quick with it then. Because then we meet Yahushua even faster. Right. You know what I'm saying? But we got nothing to lose, and that's what you devils are afraid of the most. You could come in with we went into this lesson the other time about the pleasures and how they're gonna be able to tap into people's weaknesses. Right. With I think that was a couple of camps ago that we did. And they're gonna use the worldly pleasures to what? To gain people's passivity, I should say, right? You become passive. You're okay with it. That's what the word. There you go.
And that's what they did. That's what Pharaoh did. That's how he enslaved the people.
Yep. With trinkets and sweets and all that good stuff, and then gets you get pacified. Next thing you know, you got your arm out. It's an arms race. Remember? Yeah. It's an arms race. So how quick we gonna get to these people's arms, their hands, their foreheads, man? You got Babylon versus China. Who's gonna win the AI arms race? Meanwhile, look at what China has. And Klaus Schwab said that's an attractive model. So if you're competing against China, that means that you're gonna have to be like China. China is a freaking dystopian state as we speak. Surveillance everywhere, people on the social credit score and all that. Ain't no freedoms. Americans believe in this concept of freedom, nigga. You only have a freedom to express your opinion, but guess what? You ain't got no freedom to make no choices or make no changes. They give you the choices, they give you the options, and then you go from there thinking you got freedoms. So when those freedoms, those illusions are taken away, what you got? That's the reality. You got people doing TikTok videos talking about, oh my God, Trump just came in. Yo, the shit is getting real, y'all. The shit is getting real, y'all. We've been telling you, man.
Right.
Where the fuck you been at?
TikTok.
And they're saying they're getting real. But how are you setting up your refuge? How are you setting up your defense?
The
You
gun.
still going to the damn devil asking him to be, hey, can you not slice us that much?
Right. Oh, man.
You going to the sword asking the sword not to do his job. You still running down to Egypt for help.
From Egypt.
From Egypt.
He go to Egypt for help from Egypt. 2-2 and info. You got some more, right?
Yeah. Psalm 35 and 21. Yea, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, aha, aha, our eye have seen it. This thou hast seen, O Yahweh. Keep not silence, O Lord. Be not far from me.
And you notice there, the appeal is to the Most High, right? Well, what precept is that?
Psalms 35.
Psalm 35. So the author, which is likely King David, knew that his power wasn't of him. That's why he's saying, Lord, you bear witness to this. And don't be silent about it. Do silent about it. Go ahead.
It is David, Psalm of David.
God.
Stir up thyself and awake to my judgment.
Yeah, stir up thyself. You know, the scripture saying in Ezekiel 38 that when the Lord uses God to do all this, that his anger is going to be stirred up in his face. You know, so the Lord's going to turn up. Go ahead.
Even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Yahweh, my power, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me.
Yeah, judge me according to my read that again.
Judge me, O Yahweh, my power, according to thy righteousness.
Yeah, according to thy righteousness. Because King David was a man of integrity. And if you know deep down inside, you know you're not perfect, but if you know you're doing if you know you're doing the following the ways of the Lord to the best of your ability, then you're like, you know what, Lord, I don't got nothing to hide. Right. You know? Okay?
Let them not say in their hearts, so would we have it. Let them not say we have swallowed him up. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion. And brought to confusion together that rejoice at mine hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor.
And then that goes into Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You know, because that's what's going to happen to them. And it's going to happen so quickly. The Lord's going to pull the rug from under them. And they're going to end up right on the floor. And guess what? We're going to be literally up in the chariot. Lord willing.
You're going to witness it. It says, only with thine eyes shall thou see the reward of the wicked.
I had that back in Psalm 20. I'll go back to verse 6. It says, now, Psalm 20 and 6, now know I that Yahweh saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand.
Which is who? Yahushua. Right? So the Lord hears our cries. He's going to hear us crying now and then, whenever we, in the time of trouble, and he's going to send his saving right hand to deliver us.
And back in Micah, it said, what? The Lord hearkened and listened and heard it. What is this whole gospel all about? It's about the Lord sending his right hand, Yahushua. Our whole ministry, our whole defense is predicated based off of the life, the burial and resurrection of Yahushua. Him coming back to deliver us, our Lord, man. Everybody else got their power in the saver, but whatever their idol God, right, or their sword or their money, we have a living power, man. The Heavenly Father, through his son Yahushua, is going to come and deliver us from the hand of our adversary, from the hand of him that is stronger than us. Look at the position we're in based off of the position that these elites in. Right. Our message is against them, man. Yep. These regular low-life Edomites, they don't know what the hell is going on. Our actual message is against the elites of this world. Right. The ones that got the power, man. The ones that actually can to change the dynamic of civilization. We're telling you that you're about to be put down. That's right. The Lord is about to come and take your whole system out of authority.
That's right.
And what do you think they're going to do? That's a threat to them.
No,
that is literally a threat.
that money can't solve.
But see, the weapons that we're talking is not carnal. Right. So then what are you going to do? Because your sorcery and your enchantments ain't working. Exactly. What are you going to do? You tried all of that. All of this, all of the black, you said before, the black culture, all of Jake and all of this messed up situation, that's all your sorceries, man. None of that worked on the elect. We're here. We're standing upon our feet. Ezekiel the 37th chapter. Now you're afraid. What are you going to do now? Well, you got to resort back to your blessing. I'm coming with the sword now. Okay, you come with the sword. Yahushua defeated death. What's up?
Boom, through and through. And the scripture you mentioned that because it was a foreshadowing, right? In ancient Egypt, Yahushua was the death angel, but also he led us out of Egypt, you know, in that chariot. And this time he's going to come back to the modern Egypt and he's going to destroy this place while also delivering his elect out of Egypt. You know, so he's always been the savior, always been there, right?
And what did the Lord tell the disciples? That he that liveth by the sword perishes with the sword. So we know that this ain't a physical thing, man. Any of these Israelites out here with guns talking about we ready to go and take it physically, you went in the spirit of Yahushua. Now that may be a part of your life because during the time of the Maccabees, you had certain individuals, you had the zealots, right? But they weren't followers of Yahushua. They might have was going against the Roman government, but they didn't get it. They didn't overcome. They died. They had a part in the story. Yeah, they was doing X, Y, and Z, but then they ended up dying. But who was the actual ones that got the honor, man? The ones that actually served the Lord.
He said the truth is like what? A sword.
Hey, the Lord said, "Wait ye upon me." That's the patience.
Numbers 23 and 19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it?
So if it's written in the book, guess what? It came from the Lord. And if it came from the Lord, then it's going to be fulfilled. That's why we're always talking about prophecies, because these are things the Lord, the one who can never lie has actually spoken. So they have to come to pass, and they will come to pass.
The
And we're seeing
immutability of his counsel.
the immutable, exactly. And immutable means it's unchangeable. You can't change it. So the Lord's counsel is immutable. Whatever he decides that's it. That's what happens.
Who can bring him the counsel?
That's it.
Whose throne is inestimable.
That's it. You can't esteem it. That's why he's called the Most High. You say it so much, but it actually means exactly what we say. There's none higher than the Lord. Who, if you were to take the Lord to counsel, who's going to be high enough to judge the Lord and you? Because whenever you have a judge, the judge has to be above both of you in terms of authority to hear both sides and make the righteous decision, right? Who the hell is going to be able to judge the Lord's side?
Hey, in Marvel, you had the living tribunal. Yeah, they were the council. But then you had above them, what? The one above all. They couldn't bring him the council.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
he gave the counsel.
the one above all represents the writers of the story.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
who's the writer? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
That's it.
You can't go past the director, the writer. He wrote the story. Like, you're gonna play your part. You think in the book, in the comic, they're gonna rise up. Galactus is gonna decide to be something different.
Galactus gonna be like, I challenge you, Stan Lee.
You know, like, you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. Just like you, Esau, you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. There's nothing you could go and escape and try to get around it. And nah, you're gonna play your part, man. We're gonna play our part, Lord's will.
Yes, it's funny because there are some books like that. I think in Deadpool is one example where the writers write it so it gives up the illusion that the characters in the book are aware that they are in the book and there are creators out there making them do the shit they're doing.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to come against the creators. But you as a reader know that the writer wrote that for the character to do that. So you attribute exactly. You attribute the actions in the book to the writer. Why is Stan Lee famous? You know, for Marvel, right? Because you don't go and say, oh yeah, Wolverine and all that, but it's not. Wolverine comes from this guy's mind. You know, Deadpool comes from this guy's mind. Creator. Exactly. It all goes back to the creator.
Because you can't have a character without a script, right? A character plays a role within that script. So how can a character then get up and say, "Oh, nah, I don't want to"? Nigga, you wouldn't exist if the script wasn't there.
You go into the word character, it means what? A writing or image.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Lord did. He just created images.
Nope. Out of your mind.
Out of his mind.
It say, can the vessel ask the potter, why has thou made me such?
Going back to something.
Little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. So, or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. Yeah, so the blessing is coming to the elect. There's nothing you can do to reverse it. You can kill our bodies, but that's not going to stop the blessing. That's just going to bring us to the Lord quicker. There'll be days we want to die, man. Not that we seek in death, because the scripture says, seek not death in the era of your life. But yo, man, if you take us out, we're gonna be with the Lord, man. There's nothing you could do. It's like the chessboard. You already got checkmated, man. You go there, you made it. You go there, you made it. So now you're just gonna try to flip the board and pull the nine milli out your back pocket, but the angel's right behind you, ready to take you out. So you lost. You lost in the spiritual, and you're gonna lose in the physical. So what can you do? You're that trembling left hand. He's gonna shaky, but he's just still gonna try to come at us because you're scared to come at us. That's why you don't do it. There's men that have been put to death for the things that we say on a regular basis. What's the difference with us? Because the Lord has a hedge around us, and you can't touch us unless the Lord allows you to. And even when he does, we know that that's from the Lord, just like they said in Maccabees. We know that we're suffering because of our sins. So if you do take us out, shit, we know that's from the Lord.
If you take us out, you're only making our petitions even louder in the Lord's ear.
Exactly.
So I'm going to show you this here, Revelation 6, verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for their testimony which they held. So what is that testimony? It tells you that in Revelation, I believe the 12th chapter, that they overcame the beast with the blood of the lamb and the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives until the death. Yep. So this is the testimony that we're going to actually hold. Once this devil actually makes this move and actually brings us before the council, it actually have a reasoning, quote unquote, justification to try to put some of us to death. We're still going to hold true to this testimony. That's going to be the deciding factor. Who really believes in this truth, right? When this devil says, I'm going to put you in Guantanamo Bay, nobody has the power to stop him. You're going to be over there. You're going to live out the rest of your life in Guantanamo Bay, getting tortured. This is the threat that he's saying to you. You know, but you gotta hold fast to this testimony. That's why Yahweh Shai said that, man. He said, what? Hold now fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. This is the last thing that Esau is going to be able to come with. He came with every other thing to try to get you deterred. The last thing he's going to try to get you deterred is what? The threat of killing you, the threat of death. And some of them, the Lord is going to allow to be put to death. But for what? As martyrs. Yep. And as a reason, it says, and they cried with a loud voice. Now they're in the spirit world crying. We're crying with a loud voice now on the earth. You put some of the elect men to death on this side, they're going to be in the spirit world right next to Yahweh Shai. As soon as you die, boom, you go into the spirit world. Remember, the Lord said that if you believe in him, it's eternal life. There ain't no, we're already living in the spirit. That's why Paul said that. For me to live is a Mashiach, and to die is gain. We don't got to suffer Jacob's trouble. We don't got to suffer the hour of temptation. We don't got to see, if we put us to death, we won't have to see some of our loved ones that may not believe suffer. We're just going to be in the spirit world, at peace, in the new bodies, right next to Yahweh Shai. How long, oh Lord? It says, it says, oh Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So we're going to be cursing you out in the spirit world, right next to Yahweh Shai. And what's the answer? And white robes were given unto every one of us, which represents what? Rest, victory. Because it says what? And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So yeah, that little season in the spirit world, that could be a couple minutes, man. Because if you think about 2 days is 2,000 years to the Lord. So you up in the spirit world, it's going to be literally, you got all of the vengeance and the anger, and you want the vengeance, trying to say the revenge, but the Lord said, you know what, just wait up just a little longer, 5 minutes. Yeah. And 5 minutes in the spirit world could be what? No, a couple months on this side. Right. But they got to, during those couple months, you got other brothers that may have to suffer, get big martyrs. Sisters as well. You had it during the time of Nero, where you had women that got put to death because they believed. Remember, this actually happened on the earth, man. He saw the Romans, Nero, put to death the followers of the Messiah in gruesome ways. 40 years after the Lord was on the earth, one generation after the Lord was on the earth, he prophesied during that time, 40 years later, that there's going to be a time of complete hell upon Judea, man. That's why he said when he looked upon the city, he had compassion, he cried. Right? He said, if you would have known the peace that was so near to you, but you don't know it, you don't see it, you're blinded to it. But the disciples, he told what? When you start to see these things, flee into the mountains. So they already were pre-warned what to do during this time. We have been pre-warned what to do during this time when this devil is going to encamp about Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place. When he's about to attack the temple once more, the Lord already told us what to do. Stand still. That's the greatest thing. Imagine you see a enemy coming, the Lord just said, "Don't do nothing. I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna send angels to guide you, to deliver you."
Yeah, it's crazy because like the simplest action is gonna take the most faith. Because that's the one thing people tell them, just stand still and don't do nothing. And that's like asking them to run up. They'd rather run up a mountain, you know. Because they just can't do it. It's because now your faith is what's at work. Stand still, Lord. This getting closer and closer and closer.
Yep.
You know, now you're literally fighting your flesh because your flesh is trying to move and your spirit is like stand still.
Hey, isn't that what Moses went through? When the Egyptians were on our backs?
Oh, but
about
the parting of the year.
Yesterday, he's like, Lord, where we go now? He said, what are you coming to me for? Tell the people, keep on going. He said, hey, keep on going. They're coming top speed. And all
And the
these
people were complaining.
They're complaining.
You brought us over here just to die?
there's the guys to kill us here. You can just stay
Louder
over
and
there.
louder.
Too. Yeah. Oh, Moses, they're right there, Moses. What we going to do? Oh, Lord. He said, just keep on going. Point your staff there and just walk through. I'm going to clear the whole, there's going to be a dry land where all of Israel's people going to walk right through there. And
How
that
you
takes
gonna tell
faith.
them that? You trying to tell them? He said, the Lord said we gotta go through. Oh no, this thing crazy now.
I knew this thing was
Yeah, oh, Moses, you brought us here to kill us. Why you do all
But
this?
that's why they said that. Because he said he did all this, and now he definitely brought this. Yo, they talking about walking the water.
You know, but that faith, what happened? They saw the Lord literally part the sea, and they all walked through. It says 6,000, which were men. I think it was men, 6,000 men, but then 600,000
without count
the men.
the women and children.
Yep. You know, so that's a whole lot of people. That's damn near 1 million people, probably over that. You know, mad heads, bro. You know how Jake be. You know, and they're all walking through, right, looking back and shit. Like, damn, the Egyptians are still on our tail. They're coming. And then what did the Lord do? Okay, close that whole shit up.
No, and it said actually said that I think they went at night, and the Lord had a chariot that was between them, gave them light and then dark.
Yep.
And then basically
Messed their ass up. Yep.
He drove them heavily.
Yep.
Then he took the whole nation out of Israel. This time he killing 2/3. Like we don't want them damn headaches. We don't want Israel like, oh, you brought us out here to die. No, 2/3 is gonna go. The ones that have faith in the Lord can entrust, and that we trust the Lord perfectly. Those are the ones that are being saved out of here. Them 2/3, all them problems that Moses had with crybabies of Israel, he ain't gonna have that this time.
Right. Can you imagine that? Like the Lord did all this to deliver Israel, and he already got a headache in the midst of their deliverance. Like he told Moses that. He said before he showed Moses why he said that, he told Moses these niggas they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it. Yeah. And that's why he did the matter. Exactly. That's why he did the matter. You know?
They got great. Second, Ecclesiastes 2, verse start at 2. It says, "Set thou," start at 1. "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble."
Yeah, so expect it. When it comes, expect it. Don't act like it's a strange, weird thing. It's supposed to be like that.
Yep. And that's going back to standing still, man. Because like you said, in the time of trouble, your natural instinct is going to try to figure out a way to how to get out of this. Right? When these devils come with that accusation against this ministry, the natural thing was like, all right, so what would I think if they came to hear X, Y, and Z? But the Lord already said, when that time comes, don't take no thought, man. You know how much that's swag right there. Because everybody that goes to court, it don't even matter if you're going for a divorce deposition. you're trying to premeditate how what are you going to say so you can get the best outcome out of that. Lawyers actually do pre-trial runs. So if they're going to say this, then this is how you prepare. You got to act this way. You want to show this type of emotion so you can get the crowd to actually buy into what you're saying. The Lord said, don't even think about nothing. No, nothing that you think. You don't got to think about none of that. Because it's going to be Yahweh in that day that's going to speak through you, man. So if we get caught up, well, we can just literally just be relaxed.
Wait till the best.
Like no. We don't premeditate. Sometimes we get here thinking about what the title gonna be. I'll give you what to say.
Hey, look at how Yahushua was during his trial. You know, he was very relaxed. He wasn't trying to fight back or none of that. And he made it known, if this were my kingdom, my servants will fight. So he wasn't in the midst of fighting. Like he knows, just like how we know this is Esau's kingdom. The only fight we have is with this truth. That's our only weapon. And it's the most important weapon. So why not use it? See, they have the sword, so they go around using it. The old saying that says that if the only weapon you have is a sword, then I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem is going to be a nail. You know? So Esau, the hammer of the earth, he just going around hammering everything he sees. But yeah, we come out here and we just hitting him with the jabs. Yo, this brother brings this out. This brother, you know the jab and the hook. You that one, right? You know, and that's every brother. Every punch it matters, man, because ultimately you're gonna soften him up. You know, he get hit with this, and he get hit with that. A brother shoot right in the torso, right in the fifth rib, right in the leg, right in the quad. You know, eventually, that nigga he gonna wear down, man. I don't care how big you are, bro. You keep taking hits like that. Every weather, in the summertime, in the wintertime, in the fall, in the spring, you just keep getting hits. Multiple, and the more hits, more brothers keep jumping on your back. Oh, Esau, you done, bro. You can't jump through the spirit, man. It's over with. What you gonna do now? Now you going, don't take out the guns now. We can't use the hands no more. Game over, man. It's over with. You take a gun out with no bullets. Now what?
It's gonna jam. They're gonna take that and beat his ass with
Hey, man, look. The Lord said what? Judah is gonna be a terror unto Egypt, man. You finally about to see the power. Why Esau got all these little defense mechanisms and all these different things for these measly ass Negroes in the ghettos. We're not measly Negroes, bro. We are the most highest people. And soon you're gonna see the power that the Lord has with his people, man. You're gonna see. And we're not just talking just to bluff. We're telling you what the Lord is gonna do. Right. See, we put his name out there through the spirit and power of the Lord. Guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna show out, and he's gonna show up, and he's gonna show out. Then you're gonna see, hey, call all Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We're gonna be praising the name of the Lord all day. And every day we bring his name up, he's gonna perform more miracles, man. Because he's done it multiple times. Why would he do it now? And the most important time, the most pivotal time in history. Come on, bro, stop playing. I got a free for you. Come on.
Zechariah 12:8. In that day shall Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of Yahweh before them.
Hey, that's right. It said he that is feeble among them. That's us. We're in a position of being weak, man. Hey, what did Biden said? If you want to take down a country, you gonna need some nukes. You gonna need some F-16, F-16. It's all about y'all niggas can't do shit to us, and that's true though, right? But see, the thing is, we're not looking to take down the kingdom, right? Physically. Right. All we're doing is speaking the truth. Yep. The truth is actually deteriorating your kingdom. Yep. Yep. That's why it says, "Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth." Yep. That's our part in this. Yep. But when Yahushua comes, that's when he said he's coming to judge and make war with the armies of heaven. Yahushua is coming with an army. What do people come with an army with?
he that is feeble. So like even the brothers that's sickly, that constantly going through something, got ailments, they're gonna be as the angel, which that word there in the Hebrew is malak, which is Yahushua, as Yahushua, as David. Imagine you go from being sick, you're on the deathbed, and then all of a sudden you have this godlike power. Man, you're gonna do a backflip out the hospital room, man.
Right, Vern? Oh, and Isaiah says that, right? They that wait upon me shall renew their strength. Yeah. And it explicitly gives characteristics of supernatural feats. And brothers got infirmities now, man. Brothers got back problems, high blood pressure, all these different ailments in your knees or your wrists, your headaches. Brothers get chronic headaches. So all these things are things that make you feeble. Right.
But those same individuals, they're making their bodies a living sacrifice coming out here. And that's who the Lord said He's gonna raise up in that time.
Yeah.
In a house, the whole house, all of the elect is gonna be like what is that, David?
God,
Yeah.
As God, so like as God, man.
And that's the
The 2.0, David, house of David. And you already see what the house of David was doing during that time, man. Benaniah, Joab,
Yeah.
David, how they was getting down. And that was, I mean, they had, a certain level of a spiritual power, but that's not the time that we're talking about now, man. Where the Lord said that we're going to be doing greater things than He did before when He was on the scene.
and that goes.
The thing about how this war is going on, because brother was talking about how, but see, we can't come against Esau physically, but he can't come against us spiritually. So we both have weapons that neither opposing side can use. See, we can't use his weapons against him, and he can't use our weapon against us. Because when you think about it, like, now you're gonna see the blessing, who the blessing went to. Because Esau got the blessing of the founders of the earth, but now we're at the end of it. That's why Esau is the end of the world. That world is his kingdom we're in right now. He was the one that's gonna bring the mark. He was the one that's gonna bring the affliction of Judah, Jacob trouble and oppressed together. Judah and Jacob Jerusalem oppressed together. Esau was the one to bring that Babylon, the Chaldeans, Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 47. Isaiah 47. That was Esau's kingdom. This is the kingdom we live in right now. The time after the second leg of the Roman Empire is going on right now, man. That's why everybody calling Trump Nero or whoever the hell he is, man. He's still an emperor of Rome. And he's gonna come and go against the prophets. The same thing that happened before. There's nothing new under the sun, and that's what brothers are trying to tell the world. That's why they're gonna come at us, because they know who we are. They know what we represent. We represent their downfall. He said, "Accept the apostles last." What are the brothers calling Tar and them, the apostles? And they say we're apostles too. We're messengers. We're bringing a message of your downfall to your face on your internet and your kingdom, on your soil, the same soil that you oppressed us from the jump.
Hey, it says here in Revelation 18, verse 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High have avenged you on her. What is it talking about? Babylon the Great. This is the chapter where it talks about the fall of Babylon. So there's going to be a rejoicing by the apostles, the prophets, the saints in Babylon because of the downfall of Babylon, which means that the prophets, the apostles were going to be in Babylon chanting it down, which is what we are fulfilling right now, man. We are fulfilling the actual scriptures that were preordained, that were pre-written. We're like we're saying in the card, there was no time in history where you can point to Ezekiel, was that 38th chapter, and say that this is happening right now. There's no time in history where you could point to Revelation 17 and saying this is happening right now. This is where it's happening at. So when we go back to the book, we're actually telling you you're doing this. While you're doing it, we're seeing it. We're saying this means that. You know what that means? Well, next is this. You know what that means? Well, next is that. And then Yahweh Shai comes back. The last generation. Everything happens and is fulfilled now, man. All of the end time prophecies is fulfilled now. That's why Yahweh Shai said it. When you shall see these things, know that summer is not. Know that the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Yeah, that's at Romans 13:11. That our salvation is nearer than we.
Yep.
So definitely there, man. You know, all
And when
this
you look at how things are moving, brother, I forgot who mentioned it. Presidents usually say they're trying to make moves within their first 100 days. This devil's making moves the first day. That's how quickly he's moving. JD Vance said, what, breakneck speed that we're moving at is going to be like this for the next 4 years. And it seems like literally every day Trump is doing something new, man.
Yep. Very busy.
Precept. Revelation 20:22-10. And he said, for to me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand.
That was over 2,000 years ago from now, in the past. And yet the Lord said the time is at hand. Because guess what? There were still things in there that were set to happen prior to this very time we're in. World War I and some other prophecies. But the Lord is saying the time is at hand for the revelation of the last things to happen before Yahweh Shai comes down. Go ahead.
And that's a cut to Christianity too, because they keep constantly talking about how it's all sealed. Oh, even IURC, the dude was talking about the MOTB, And he said, seek not things that are higher. What did he say? It was Sirach.
Too high for them?
Yeah, seek not things that are too high for thee. But he's trying to seal the book. And you can't unseal because you don't got the understanding anyways. But the understanding has been unsealed. That's the point. So don't seal it. You trying to seal it. You trying to not, when you sealing something, what are you doing? You're hiding it. It's hidden. It's not disclosed. So the scripture said what? Seal not the sayings of the prophecy. Well, you Christians out here saying, oh, it's sealed. We don't know what that is. MOTB, it could be this. People have said that it's the CHIP. People have said this and that. People will say, oh, there's already one in your credit card or your debit card. But they're not getting into the understanding. When you ask them something, they just give you more confusion.
Well, it's sealed onto them.
It's sealed unto them, exactly.
They're not making it plain.
Right.
The Lord said to the watchman, make it plain amongst the table, right? That he that run
They run that read.
they run that reader. That's our jobs. It's plain to see what it is. But see, the time is going to come where those that didn't believe in it or didn't believe our report, you're now going to be stuck with a choice. And that's why the apostles always say when the MOTB comes out, Nate and all these guys, they gonna have to explain that to their congregation, man. And just like the time with the jump shot, a lot of them took it. Now, how much more now when your actual life depends on it? When it's actually whether or not you're going to be able to be a part of society, be a part of the commerce, the agora. There's no time in history where people got ostracized literally from being able to be a part of the market unless you put a brand in it, man. Unless you put something inside of your body. That's this time where this devil, that is the MOTB, the system that John the Revelator saw. And that is once again a system where Esau is trying to solidify his dominance on the earth as being God on the earth. Well, only the elect, as John saw, that they got the victory over the beast and over his image. By what? By keeping holding fast to this word, man. Because of their faith that they kept, even up until death if it needs be, man.
That's why he said make it quick upon the table, because this devil's moving so quick. Ain't no time to be like making it all hard to understand. Make it plain, man.
Yeah.
Tell you the chip, see him, excuse me, my bad. See him is coming. Yo, don't get it, or you get this judgment. This is what it is, this is what it represents. Period. I'm still read, bro.
Yeah, a little bit more. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is
that's why when it comes to the truth, we're at the point where we're only concerned about the elect. I believe in second Esdras, Esdras was saying how that Abraham prayed for the Sodomites, right? Moses prayed. I forgot also things that Joshua prayed for the people. But the Lord said, now the day of doom is coming where the righteous can't pray for the elect at this point. For the wicked. So like the righteous won't pray for the wicked. And that's the mindset that the prophets are in now. Like how the Lord told Jeremiah, don't lift up a cry for these people. Because in the ancient world, you had Israel, even Esdras was doing it. You had Israelites that prayed for the whole commonwealth of Israel, that they wanted to see the betterment. We still want to see the betterment of the nation of Israel, but we understand that it's going to take the destruction of majority of Israelites for that to happen. Right. So we're now at the point, the prophets are at the point of saying, you know what? We'll get rid of them. Let the multitude perish, which is born in vain. Because the day of doom, the day of judgment is at hand.
Hey, they got that Avengers movie Doomsday coming out. Like next year, I think. If we even get that far. But it just shows you the spirit that's in the earth right now.
America's going to be 250 years so-called next year, 2026.
Yep. Captain America, Brave New World. So you see what they put it all in the movies, man. It's all spiritual. And it reads, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly.
Yeah, let them be holy still, right? So you that are, those that have the elect, they're gonna keep doing what they gotta do anyway. Nobody gotta tell them to keep doing it. They're gonna keep doing it, And those that are not, it doesn't matter what you do. You cannot make them do what the elect are gonna do, and vice versa, because the Most High programmed it that way, and that's how it's gonna play out.
And that's why Paul said, times in the seasons, brother, and I have no need that right unto you. Because you should be paying attention. You should know the time, man. You know what, hey, Jake, you know what's up. You know what time it is. And that's a spiritual thing.
All fucking bus. Yeah, they were talking about getting rid of Black History Month.
Yeah, that's the purpose. Yeah, just keep it up.
They're good, man.
Word.
The Lord is killing that whole black nigga culture. Fuck your culture, man. Fuck MLK and all that bullshit, man. The Lord is just dead in that. And then, you know, the Lord knows how to get niggas angry. He'll set up the perfect devil. He'll say everything to get you mad. You niggas fall for the trap every time. You still care about this nonsense, Black History Month? This is a joke, man. You don't even care about your real history in the Bible, but you over here mad about some made up shit. They gave you 1 month out of 12. We get into the scriptures every day, man. All the time. 365 is Israelite History Month, man. And y'all got to tap in, but you stuck on this black being a part of a crayon box, man. That's why y'all niggas don't know nothing. That's why you're not going to sing the song of Moses, man, this time around. They was doubtful, talking shit. You're not like the brother Aharon was going into all this doubt. And it must have grieved the Lord to save you niggas back then, knowing what y'all was about to do. But now this time around, you ain't gonna make it, man. You ain't gonna be singing the song of Moses, man. Stay your doubtful ass over there, man. And the elect is gonna be raised up and delivered.
The Lord was going to destroy them. If it wasn't for Moses who fled his case,
That's right.
the case for them. Yep. He would have cooked their ass up, man.
When they count the blood of Yahushua as an unholy thing. So if you're not trying to get it under this time, under this grace period, through what Yahushua did, then there's no other way for you to get it. That's why the Lord said there's no saving them now. It's a wrap for you. The Lord gave you Yahushua and as that beacon of light. If you're going against that, if you're letting the power of the darkness of this world snatch that away from you, then there is no, you got to be casted out into that outer darkness. You got to be gone.
And my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be.
Every man according as his work shall be. And if you're doing the right work, you excited. You know, you excited. You're like, yo, man, I can't wait for this, man. You know, because I did what I got to do. You know, but if you ain't, that's why the Apostle Paul, he said, look, I'm ready to be offered. You know? I've done what I got to do. The Lord said, get this, and then I'm good. You know, now if you ain't been doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? You've been doing wickedness and so on and so forth. A lot of these people don't even know that the Lord is coming with a reward for them. He's going to give it to the elect. He's going to say, I got something for you too. Oh, you do, Lord? And they're going to think they're going to be getting the same reward as the elect. You know, and the Lord going to put a fiery sword from behind his back, and now you cook. You know?
Yeah. But man, you think about it, talk about praying not for people, especially like the so-called Negroes and whatnot that's here. Those are actually the men that actually said to kill Yahushua. They actually brought Yahushua to be killed. So when you talk praying for them, those are the ones that's going to be destroyed over here. Why do you think they're getting destroyed? He going to give them their answer. Put his blood upon our children's head, our children's heads.
So they acknowledged that and then said basically put that tab on us.
Yeah.
And then they fucked up their children too. They said put it on them too. That's crazy.
And and ultimately, through the whole all of our iniquity, we all went through it. But like the brother said, the elected are the ones getting delivered with the salvation. Those are the ones that, in the meantime, after Egypt, after all of that, they did what they were supposed to do. The ones that stayed on the other side, those are the ones that said to crucify Yahushua. That's why he's coming back to judge them, and that's why they're going to get casted and they're going to get burnt up. That's what we're warned. That's what's really coming here. This is not a joke. And here it is. Ironically, you have all these nations talk about getting all these these nuclear weapons ready. Fast fire, concentrated fire, and not just any fire that will melt you where you stand. That's what we're talking about. Sarah Connor, Terminator 2, all brothers use that example. Just watch that scene. Watch that scene. Burn the flesh off your bones where your eyes should be consumed in their holes. That's what all these America got them too. Everybody, you look around. Nuclear subs, nuclear aircrafts. The shit that be in the sea, the aircraft carriers. All these nations are doing that as we speak, right in front of your eyes. Joel, the 3rd chapter. Assemble yourself. Prepare war. Everybody talking World War III, nuclear war, nuclear this, nuclear that, nuclear bunkers. And then what you got to say about that now? Is that just a joke? You think these niggas joking? You think China, you think Russia joking? They said we are ready to go to war with NATO and the U.S. You are in the U.S. Come on.
It's written. It's written. We're literally are living in fulfillment of prophecy, man. This is why the Lord said, measure the times diligently. When you see part of these signs pass, know that is the very same time where the highest would begin to visit the world which he made. And when you visit, when the Lord visit, he not, like I said, he not coming to visit, okay, I'll be back later. Nah, he's gonna make his presence felt. And it's going to just continue to be heightened and heightened more and more to the actual day of the Lord.
Right.
So that day of the Lord has to happen in a particular generation. Every days happen in a particular time frame. So if the Lord said that there is a generation that these things are going to happen, what time is that? Like we were saying before, if they're moving toward this digital system, if all of the men we just got old and died now, what are we going to be born into 3 or 4 generations down the line?
Yeah, right.
Literally,
Right.
3 or 4 generations, like 100 years from now.
Right.
What is life going to look like in 21, 25? There'll be no flesh saved. Literally, you'll be born into a chip society. So even if we did have the truth, the Lord couldn't save us.
Yep.
You got his mark in him from birth.
That's why it's the last.
This is why it's the last generation. Because what do you think that these little niggas now, when they get our age, their whole life, they're saying it within the next 5 years, the whole way of Department of Education will look different.
Right.
Just they're getting rid of the Department of Education now, right? So if you 5 years from now, what do you think people that are in 5th grade, what do you think their 10th grade gonna look like?
Right.
People that are in 10th grade, what do you think college is gonna look like? So then if you want to add another 10 years from that, that's only 15 years. That's what, 2040. People that are kids now, what do you think their life is actually going to look like? You got children that's 10, 11 years old that are literally addicted to technology. We're the last generation that was not addicted to technology. Where we can go about without needing it. Now it's useful, but we're not like some of us are getting addicted to it in our generation. But you got kids from birth that all they knew in society, in school, was learning from digital learning.
Right.
Now they're talking about actually having what's that shit called? Virtual reality. That's how you're going to be learning now from VRs. So when you get another 20 years from now, everybody, the whole system's going to look completely different, man. Completely different.
Yeah, but just like you said, it makes so much sense why once again it's the last generation. You know, because once upon a time, right, we saw a world without technology on this level. And nobody that's pretty much born in this generation is ever going to be able to see that.
Right.
You know, because from this point on, it's only more and more advanced because right now we're still in a transition period, right? And once that transition period ends, there's a new set normalcy that's going to be continuing for whatever, you know, assuming that shit just carries on as it is. Right? That's going to be his new world order.
And what is Sean talking? We're going to do great things with crypto.
Yep.
So that means in 20 years from now, the actual way of buying and selling is going to be completely different than it was in the year 2000, right? In the year 2007, where you had the great awakening, 20 years from now, 2024 or 2045, it's going to look completely different of how you're able to interact in society. And that's why when that devil brings out that MOTB, the Lord's going to have to speed up those days, man. That's not going to be a long time where Esau just gets the MOTB system off.
Really?
And it says that every hand of the labor is going to be upon them. That word labor is the workers. Why? Because you're talking about UBI system. Now people are not even going to be, everybody's going to be dependent literally on the system.
Yep.
And that's going to be Esau having an iron fist over the population. So where if you don't get down with this, then I will crush you. I will show you when I made my land, then I will break you. That's it. That's why he said, unless you, he calls of all that won't bow to the beast that should be killed. How is he going to do that? With the system that he's putting in place right now. And it's already, you already see it. You just have to tap to play, tap to ride.
Yeah. On buses now?
On buses. You go on the trains. I don't know the last time I seen somebody actually pay with cash on a train, man. You don't do that no more. You used to pay a taxi, you used to actually pay with money. You don't even do that. It's digital on your phone. It's already prepaid. They're Uber. You don't own anything. You don't own your cell phone. Back in the day, you used to actually buy cell phones. You don't own a cell phone. You don't own cars. You renting cars now. You don't own a house because they done bought all that and made it crazy expensive. So now you just renting houses. They got systems where certain places where you could buy rent clothes. That's crazy.
Own nothing.
And that's what it is. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Because we're going to have we're going to be just giving you the money for you to pay for your subscriptions. You don't own TV, you don't own movies, you don't own music. You got an Apple Pay. Nobody got CDs like that. We were talking about the brother got his uncle burned a CD. I was like, I thought that was a lost art.
Yeah.
I ain't know people know how to burn CDs anymore. But back in the day, you used to have the whole CD book. You know what I mean? You don't own video games. It's all downloaded digitally. So if the system goes out, then you're done. You can't play. Last night I tried to play Madden. Fucking the PSN was down, right? I'm like, God, I can't even get on the system here. I can't play this shit. Because I got no hard copy of the shit.
Oh, damn.
You need that hard copy.
So you gotta get the hard copy. But he started taking away the hard copy. You don't own the money, right? Brothers, some brothers still use cash for that. They're forcing that. Everybody, you can't even get a check no more. You gotta get direct deposit. And now they're moving that to digital. So now it can be programmable. So now they say that you can't even save money. You got a certain amount of time where you gotta spend this shit or you gonna lose it. The UBI, yep. Digital, what they call it, the programmable tokenizations of your actual money.
And the best way they're gonna do that is by wiping out people's pension plans and 401ks. Yeah, they once they wipe that shit out, all the once I retire, I'm gonna do this. You ain't retiring shit. It's over with.
Didn't Elon Musk get access to the Treasury Department?
Yeah.
What are you looking at right now, man? This nigga that's talking, and he named his system Deutsch after a fucking crypto coin.
Hold on. You lost that shit.
Game over, bro. No nothing.
Gone.
All your 401k pension. If you don't want that shit, you gotta liquidate it via crypto. All these companies, the banks, they saying that with the regulation, they're actually allowing banks now to use cryptocurrency, blockchain. So now these banks that control your 401k plans, because your actual company doesn't have its own bank. They just they put your money in another person's bank, in a bank, either BlackRock or Chase, one of the big Fortune 500 companies. All of these Fortune 500 companies like BlackRock, Chase, they're going to what? Digitalization, cryptocurrency. So now, instead of your company trading for your 401k with actual stocks, right, and bonds, they're going to be trading in crypto. So now your money is going to be literally tied to the crypto currency. Your actual 401k, your pension is going to be tied to the cryptocurrency chases system. So now, if you want to get that money, you got to actually now have a digital wallet. In order for you to have a digital wallet, you're going to need a digital ID. In order for you to have a digital ID, that got to be biometric.
It's all come together.
I got an article on that, bro. I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but this is no doubt. This is from CBS News. It says Deutsche Task Force gains access to U.S. Treasury Department data payment system. Now, when I thought about this dude Elon Musk, along with Trump, is a busy dude. These niggas getting their hands at everything, and this is the great thing that Trump was talking about with crypto. Because like Dogecoin, that's a crypto joint. It was Bitcoin and Doge. Those are the two main ones at first. And it says the Department of Government Efficiency, which is the Doge acronym, run by President Trump's billionaire advisor and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, has gained access to sensitive Treasury data, including Social Security and Medicare customer payment systems, according to two people familiar with the situation. So there's somebody that knows what they're talking about. And it said Medicare and Social Security. That's what these old niggas be talking about. Yo, my Social Security, my pension, all that. It's all intertwined. Payment system.
They said that the Social Security system got hacked.
Oh, no. They said in August, they told us in March it happened, I think. Yeah. So how many months is that? That's 9 months afterwards. And it said the move by a Trump administration task force assigned to find ways to fire federal workers, cut programs, and slash federal regulations means it can have wide leeway to access important taxpayer data, among other things. Advocacy groups on Monday filed a lawsuit against the Treasury Department calling the data sharing illegal. But remember, the brother said, yo, they could bypass all that shit. Who's going to stop them? We're talking about this is the president's cabinet.
Right. Well, he said he wanted to get rid of the IRS.
Yeah, said that.
Why? You don't need an IRS when your money's literally just being taxed from your, digital coin, from your wallet, straight from your bank. You don't need the IRS now. Nobody needs to audit you.
Right.
Well, we're just automatically taking it, and then we're actually giving you your portion, your stimulus. The stimulus that they was getting during the CV, where everybody was using that to continue life. And without these stimmies, you wasn't able to do nothing because nobody had a job. Well, guess what? That's going to be an actual whole system. Every month, you're going to be getting a stimulus check. You don't work no more.
Oh, and check this out. Speaking of, I think brother was talking about whistleblowers earlier, right? So it says the scale of intrusion into individuals' privacy is massive and unprecedented, said those in the complaint filed by several plaintiffs, including the Public Citizen Litigation Group, the Alliance for Retired Americans, and the Service Employees International Union. Workers, the people, that's the masses, will be that represent the masses. And it says, people who must share information with the federal government should not be forced to share information with Elon Musk or his Doge, and federal law says they do not have to. The New York Times first reported the news of the group's access of the massive federal payment system. The two people who spoke to the Associated Press spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. So that's a little in-house bullshit going on. So they put it on the game. They put it also on the game. They saying like, yo, they trying to take over everything. Social Security, Medicare, your fucking retirement. That's everything. Well, that's what people are working for to get, and that's what some people are about to get.
And that's what
You have to change
people
law.
don't realize. Man.
Mhm.
See, this wisdom is too high for the common Jake right now. They're just going about their life like this. None of this stuff affects us. They're just walking about, okay. But that's why the Lord said it's going to come like a thief, man. It's going to come like a thief because all of these things we're talking about is things that they're doing as we speak, that they're moving quick, breakneck speed, that they're doing these things. So just because you don't see it, and it's crazy because that's why being on a watchtower is so vital, man. Because we see these things afar off and we see it coming down the pipe. And we're warning our people, only the elect are going to take heed to it. So when it does happen, you will be stable because you had that wisdom. You had that wisdom of that foresight. So you know, okay, when this takes place, don't make haste. Know that this is a part of the plan. But most people, because they walk by, because they don't hear it, they don't understand it, they don't perceive, right? It says the simple pass on and are punished. When it actually takes place, they're just going to be caught off guard. They're going to be in a disarray. They want to be deranged. And they, what do we do? What do we do? Let's go down to Egypt. Go down to Egypt for help. See, they want to lean their hand upon that broken reed. Because that's going to be to them, all of their carnal senses is going to be telling them, well, we just got to trust the government that they know best for us.
They'll figure it out.
That they'll figure it out. This is what we got elected officials in here for. But your elected officials are being told what to do, and they're not even elected. They're selected, and they're being told what to do by the NGOs, who are now coming out, revelation of the method, and telling you exactly what their method is, the methodia. Because they got a short time, so they got to just be out with it. The sorcery ain't. It takes a lot longer to do sorcery when you got to do a lot more hidden shit. You gotta make it look more nicer. But now they come out here, fuck it, this is what we got doing. We open the portals. We over here. Trump saying not Trump. Elon Musk said we talking to demons. I think about the Roman Empire every day. So they're coming out and telling you what it is now. Changing his name.
KKS Maximus, whatever. Like, where the bullshit is
Greek
that?
stuff.
Roman bullshit. You know, but it's so, like, my favorite word, diabolical. Yeah. How Esau is bringing it all up because he's got the people actually wanting these things to happen. You see what I'm saying? Because here it is. Trump says, oh, I'm going to eliminate the IRS. Yeah, of course. Yeah, eliminate the IRS. Look what they're using our money for. Yeah, we don't need to be having these taxes and all that shit. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to replace it with UBI. You like that? Yeah, I mean, we're all going to get money, right? So that's good. And then they turn around and say, oh, look, we just found out that we just did the tax auditing. It turns out that USA is misusing your tax dollars. So we got to eliminate USA. Oh, man, that's a good thing, man. See, now we don't need to worry about our money being sent over to Palestine for them to buy $50 million worth of condoms, and they're going to use it to make bombs. Dumbass people believe that shit. Yep. They said that, niggas believe in it too. I said, yo, I went to a customer's house doing some job. The dude is sitting there. He said he was an ex-military dude, whatever. He's like, can you believe what they're using our money for? I said, what's going on? He said, man, they sending over $50 million overseas and they're buying, guess what? I said, what? They're using it to buy condoms. I'm like, condoms, $50 million worth of God. What the hell are they going to use that for? He's like, he's like, guess what? I said, what? They would probably like sleep with all the women over there. Saying, he said, no, worse. They're making bombs with them shits. I'm looking at this thinking like, man, does that even make sense? He's like, I can't even tell you. I said, bro, they got this nigga in a trick bag. He believed everything they're telling him. Oh, they sent $50 million of your tax money overseas to buy condoms to make bombs. And you believe it.
Who's the real idiot?
Like, I'm like, yo,
They have nothing else. They have nothing else to fall back on. This their kingdom.
that's crazy. At this point, they'll believe anything. So they're just coming up with shit. That's funny. When the girl was saying it, the press secretary, shorty, that you launching, she was laughing when she said it. I said, see, it's a joke,
They
man.
believe anything.
Yeah.
What do you think that nigga's gonna do in JT? What do you think he's gonna do? No, they said go to the center. They got a place now where they gonna help us out, man. You heard about it?
Yup.
You gonna pull up?
Yup.
Well, that's why they gonna hate us. All men gonna be hated for our sake. All men's gonna hate us for the Lord's sake because they gonna make it seem as though we did some crazy shit. They be like, oh, those guys that was on the I knew it.
It's their fault.
It's their fault.
They have nothing, right?
Yeah, Trump about to munch your ass and take your ass to freedom cities. That's what he's saying. He's about to start making a whole bunch of freedom cities. It's funny how they call it freedom when it's really a prison city, right? That's how Esau works, man. That double talk shit.
No city for dumb niggas.
Yup.
The cattle.
I don't know if y'all seen it. They had a joint. It's like houses. They all look the same. There's like row houses. They kind of like trailers, but those are supposed to be the new like electric house. Not electric house, but it's like no gas. It's like
the greenhouse bullshit.
yeah, like some shit. It's like some weird. Yeah. I think it was the smart city shit. So like that's the direction they headed.
They got the fold out houses now.
Yeah.
They fold it out. Basically, they'll take like they'll take a cargo container and they'll say this is the house, and they said, look at how spacious it is. I'm like, nigga, if I lay down, I'm a little under 6 feet. I'm gonna be covering the whole length of the house. They talking about it. Look at how spacious they try to like decorate this shit up and make it look good, but they just giving you scraps.
And you got Jake that actually think that, yo, get my tiny house, man. Look how nice it is. Oh, yo, I gotta do it. I got my tiny yo. And then you can buy that shit off of Amazon for like $80,000, right? And Jake is actually thinking, yo, this is probably better. We don't gotta deal with rent. We don't gotta deal with nothing. But now if you actually think you're living in a fucking tiny house, where else is all of the big ass earth? Who's gonna control this? Who gets the big ass earth? When you think about Snowpiercer, that movie, they had a bunch of people in a small section, and everybody else had all of the luxuries of having space on the other parts of the train. That's what Devil is setting up. He made shit so expensive. He made shit so fucking hard to enjoy to where he says, you know what? You can have a tiny, luxurious house, small ass lot. You don't own the land, so you just have this small ass tiny house on this land that you still got to pay property taxes for, and we just want to have control of everything else, and everything will be good. Everything will be good.
But they ain't a big mansion and shit.
But they ain't a fucking big ass super yacht. They had a fucking super yacht where you live in this super yacht is just where they go just to relax. You live in a fucking tiny house. You can't go further than 15 minutes away from this motherfucker, or else you're gonna be deemed a fucking social credit score. You're gonna be low.
Like the Hunger Games.
Get back to your tiny house.
AI gonna be policing you, making sure that you're not emitting too much CO2 into the atmosphere and shit. No too much carbon. You know, this is a word that they actually pitching to you, and we exposing what their plans are. But people are not gonna listen to what we say. They're gonna listen to what they're saying.
Down to the house.
Yeah. It's all part of
in the box.
the box. You got it, bro.
Yeah, he got you niggas in a box mentally and spiritually and physically. You boxed in. And do you think that this is something to it? Like this is what you aspire to in life? Look, they gave us a box, man. You see this shit? This shit is fire. Look at this box. Jake's gonna be comparing who got the better box, who got the better prison cell. And compared to what we gonna have in the kingdom, look at all the land, the space. See, that's why you gotta break your mind free of this place, man. Through the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the freedom and the liberty in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. Our minds have been liberated from the shackles of this current life and this flesh. But we can see beyond this. We can see the acres and acres and thousands and thousands and thousands of, it's not gonna be able to, you're not even gonna be able to number how much space you got. You just gonna know, yo, it's out there, it's all that wilderness, man. I gotta explore it. And then I'll check it out. I have my seeds check it out.
There's a Rothschild, Lord Rothschild, he got interviewed, Jacob Rothschild, he got interviewed, and then the lady was asking him about his I guess it was like a palace or whatever they live in. And a villa, yeah. And then they asked him, she asked him, oh, so how much land is all out there? Like, cause it's like a small, like a big ass fucking house, and there's mad land around it. It's just empty space, mad green everywhere. So she was like, oh, how much? So he's like, it's about 3,500 acres of land. I'm like, 3,500 acres of land, 3,500 for what? All just because you want to sit in a place. And then I'm like, yo, Jake is paying like mad bread in New York City in a small little box for like $4,000, $5,000 a month.
This chick, bro, it was an Edomite chick. Her house is 3x6 in her apartment. It's 3x6. What? Her sink is, you know, the top of the toilet. She basically turned the top of the toilet into a sink. So when you flush the toilet, the fucking the faucet brings out the water from there, and that's where she brush the teeth at. Bro, all she got is a toilet and a shower. And the shower, she got, I think, sit like this. Watch, because she can't stand up all the way. $2,000 a month she pays. In New York City. That's how people are living right now.
What? You couldn't give me a house in New York City for free and I'm gonna live there. Fuck that place, man. No, I'm serious, bro. Like, I hate the city, man. I hate the city. Man. And then you got $2,000 for that shit?
That's the Gora. Yeah.
Nah, bro.
That sounds kind of light.
But that's what they want to do, though. They want to clear off all the land, all the stuff that you see going on, all these disasters that's going to be hitting various states. It's going to be the next thing is going to be, oh, we're going to jump in and fix it. Oh, we're going to jump in and fix it. And it's all going to be the same model, step by step by step. You know, you're going to have California, they're saying that they're going to do smart cities. Yep. It's going to be, you had smart LA. You had your own land. All right, we're going to take over now and we're going to fix it because you ain't got no insurance. You ain't going to recover from this shit. So we're going to come in and take over, and they're going to be building what? Apartment complexes. New smart apartment complexes where you're going to have a digital ID to function throughout these, to interact with this new system. Oh, you want to hop on a train, 15-minute city train? You got to have an ID because that 15-minute city is controlled by something known as geofencing. And within every geographic fencing that you're in, you're known by your digital ID. So guess what? If you venture out of that fence, you can't pick up on no signal. You know what I'm saying? Your phone is not going to work via Wi-Fi outside of your geofencing zone, man. These devils got some sinister shit going on that is not even funny.
And Elon Musk, didn't he create that train system over in Vegas that can get you from Vegas to LA?
Yeah, underground and shit. Yeah.
And it's so coincidental now that LA is basically burnt up. So the only way that you're going to be able to get there is going to have to go through his little underground shit.
Yep. It's a monopoly, man.
So let's quote this last scripture. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. And that's because, look what this devil has set up, man. The earth is literally defiled. So the day that the Lord comes back, he's going to renovate the earth by fire. Just like how during the first flood, the scripture says that all substance was destroyed. The Lord is going to destroy all of Esau's substance. Everything that he built is going to be turned to ashes, man. You're not going to have any of the mechanisms that you have now in the kingdom of heaven, brothers. You're not going to be talking about, I need to go, go on the computer, go on the internet. The Lord's going to take down all these satellites. The phones ain't going to work. The rest of the materials you do have, the scripture says, you're going to beat all your plowshares into all of your swords into plowshares. The revolution, industrial revolution, will be the kingdom. The fifth industrial revolution. That fifth is power. That's it.
Hey, it's funny how Trump and them saying that America is going to be the capital for crypto and what's the other one that he said? AI and crypto capital of the world, right? And it's interesting that they're doing that now because this is the place where the Lord is going to destroy. So if it's going to be the capital of the world, that means the Lord is going to take out the whole entire system by destroying this place.
Yeah,
The beast, yeah. You know, so America is pretty much like the image or the face, the front runner for this beast system, man. They want to be the ones to do it.
The Lord may have America be the first one to actually mandate this to see it. It makes sense.
Yep.
It starts here where it's actually mandated
Yep.
as the new way of buying and selling.
It would be most needed for it.
Exactly. Yep.
And it would be most needed by America because they got to buy from everybody else.
And that will be the way that it can try to solidify its dominance in the world's commerce. If it's because they want to beat China into that system.
As America goes, so does the world.
Yep.
You know,
It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So if you see in all these things, what type of mindset are you supposed to be in? Our word conversation is anastrophe, which means behavior, manner of life, conduct, right? So what is your manner of life going to be if you see that all these things going to be dissolved? This is what we're telling our people, right? Yeah, you got to be in this world, but don't be of this world. The fashions of this world are fading away. Literally, what you know back before 2020 is completely different than what you know life as now. You go to restaurants, you got a QR code. You scan it. That's a different manner of life, man. So how much more now? How much more now as they're trying to exponentially move towards, as they said, the intelligence age, right? The things that happened that took 5 years to go from 2020 to here, that time is going to be short. From 2025 to the middle of 2025. It ain't going to take 5 years no more. It's going to be 2025 June. It's going to be crazy different. 2025 September going to be even crazier different. You just think about how quickly 2024 happened, and you see how quickly Trump is moving now. Hey, 2025 going to look crazy, man. It's going to look absolutely insane. So if you know all these things, what manner of persons ought you to be? This is what we're telling our people, man. And you got these demons even more so riled up now. So you got to literally, the Lord, you need to be walking in a step with the Lord, man. You can't be swaying, lukewarm, right? You can't be teeter-tottering on the fence, because at any moment, these spirits of vengeance, these demons are out here, man.
Remember, Elijah Shai, you posted the video of Trump saying that he wanted to make the Visa biometric passport system. That was during his other presidency, other term, 2017. So now we almost 10 years later, and you don't think he's about to do that? You know, and that was plastered all over the internet, and it was over all different types of websites.
And when you actually listen to what he said that this was something that was already legislation in Congress that they've been moving. But Congress, you said Congress haven't been doing anything. But under my administration, I'm actually going to bring it out. Because remember what Biden said in that interview years ago. You will preside over whether or not. So that was So that was years ago. So this is already in the legislations. We talk about during the Obama era where they had the CHIP in it. They talking about it being able to track people's medical identification or medical records through a CHIP. That was during the Obama administration that was passed.
Healthcare.
The healthcare. Obamacare. So all these things is already in the system, man. It's already in the Congress. So when all they was waiting for was an actual time, as King Charles said, for 2020, the golden opportunity to seize the moment. To seize the moment. This was that time. That's why they're saying it's the Great Reset, and that ain't changed. The reset it wasn't accomplished yet. The reset is happening right now.
But man, it's gonna be short. But they talking about their goals is like 2026, 2027, 2028, 2030. They're not even talking that far ahead. They talk about what they want to do within these next few years. With the war and it's all the technology, like the currency shit.
It says, looking forward and hastening until the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, all right, the elect, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. And that is what we're looking for, man. That is what we are out here giving our making our call and election sure for. Because we see what this devil is doing, and we see the type of society that he is bringing forth. And if it's not for the Lord to actually deliver us, then we will be swept into taking into that, man. There will be no flesh saved. Brothers don't even have children now, but there will be no future in actually existence, man. That's why Paul said it. In this life, we have hope that we're men most miserable. We are looking for Yahweh Shai to come and set up a righteous kingdom in order on the earth where we can actually live, actually have life, an abundant life, man. You know, so if any brother got anything else, yeah, now we about to so with that, we'll close it out, giving all praises to
Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem.
So next time, Shalom.
More. God bless you. Oh, hold on 1 second.